One win over the Padres. Will they bounce back? Or will LA make it 2 straight?
Way back there and into the second deck.
Game 2 of the Dodgers and Padres. Zone. Coverage begins today at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio. You can also listen to the game on the ESPN app or on
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
I'm Christine Lisi. Raiders star receiver Davantae Adams has been charged with misdemeanor assault for shoving
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Today it's going to be cloudy in the morning. Could see some scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Some gusty winds possible, high of 78. Tonight showers and possible thunderstorms during the evening. Then partly cloudy skies after midnight, low around 50. And tomorrow for your Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, a high of 62. I'm Adam Zellick for 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, live on 1410 Wing AM, live at wingam.com. Of course, that's where you could stream us, obviously the audio stream and the video stream. Plus, you can hang out with us on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. The Justin Kinner Show Facebook page is where we're hanging out today. You get to watch the show weekdays live from 3 to 6. Interact with us in the comment section and, tell Kev how awesome he is. Tell me how bad I am, but that's just the nature of the show. That's how much fun we have today. I saw Joe Burrow earlier, by the way.
What happened with Joey B?
In the press conference, and someone sneezed and it scared the crap out of him, and I don't know why I got a huge kick out of that.
That's so 2020.
It's so childish on my part. I don't know why I found it so funny. But nonetheless, we'll talk Bengals-Browns coming up around the corner. We always, if we have time.
Got time?
You know us. We're always talking about, hockey and golf and everything else. So if we have enough time for football talk, we'll squeeze it in. But a lot to get into today. We never even got into our power rankings yesterday. We have that coming up. But I wanted to open up with this because for whatever reason, this seemed to kind of really just get under people's skin earlier today regarding everything going on right now with Davantae Adams, the wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sure you saw the clip of him making his way off the field the other night after that Monday Night Football loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Raiders are now 1-4. It was a sloppy finish. Him and Renfro ran into one another, and he had a great game, by the way. He's on my fantasy team. He almost I had about a 60-point deficit heading into Monday night, and I only lost by 15. He did pretty well for me on that night. But no one's talking about Davantae Adams and the performance he had. They're not talking even really about him running into Renfro at the end. They're not even talking about the Raiders being 1-4 right now. They're talking about Davantae Adams because right now he's been charged with misdemeanor assault after shoving a cameraman after his Monday Night Football loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, again, this is the typical range of reactions that we're accustomed to getting in these particular situations. There's the side of just keep your hands to yourself. There's no excuse to put your hands on anybody else, which that's just common sense. And I don't know how we veered so far away from that. And then there's the other side. He shouldn't have been. It was like basically social media is like watching the movie Happy Gilmore. He should have been standing there. I mean, that's really what everyone's saying. The cameraman should not have been in his way, as if Davantae Adams owns the ground that he walks on, and that nobody else can even think about walking in front of him. I'm watching it right here. The cameraman, it's not like he was running up with the camera to get a shot of him. They just literally crossed paths. He did not see Davantae Adams coming, and Davantae Adams comes to a complete stop and just literally shoves him to the ground. All right, I think he's a bum for doing that. I think that's, it looks bad. It looks like you're throwing a temper tantrum. But the thing that happened there is Davantae Adams putting his hands on that cameraman. The cameraman goes falling to the ground. I don't know. He presses charges now, and that's where we're at. Now the story has taken on a whole other side of the legal ramifications of it. And what cracks me up is people don't really understand how this whole thing works. People are like, I can't believe the NFL is going to press charges against Davantae Adams, but not press charges against Myles Garrett when he swung a helmet at Mason Rudolph's head. You do realize that the NFL is not suing or pressing charges against Davantae Adams. You realize that the Chiefs are not doing it, or ESPN, or the Raiders, or anyone other than the man that he put his hands on, which, guess what? That is his God-given right, or at least his American-given right, however it comes down to it. The bottom line is, Davantae Adams, keep your hands to yourself. I had some guy on Facebook a little bit ago, Kev, say, well, you should look at the other angle. He literally just walked right in front of him. I'm like, okay. I'm at Walmart earlier today. This cute little 80-year-old woman, she comes walking around the corner, walks right in front of me. I didn't know I had the right to just shove that woman down to the ground because, woman, you're in my way. No, that's not a thing. Why are we making up these just weird mindsets or policies of how to handle someone walking in front of you? It's a game. It's a kid's game. It's a physical game, but it doesn't mean you get to be physical in every aspect of life, walking off the field, just shoving people all around you. The guy made a mistake. He walked too close to him in front of him. He wasn't attacking him. He wasn't doing anything. Give me a break. Yes, this story is being overblown to a certain degree, but it's being overblown because of the caveman mentality that I own the ground and I get to shove you if you walk in my way and blah, blah, blah. Stop it. Davantae Adams, he was wrong. He admitted he was wrong. We heard an attorney call into the show before hours earlier this afternoon that basically said the biggest mistake that Davantae Adams made was actually the apology. The apology was basically an admission of guilt of shoving someone to the ground, even though we physically saw the video. But I thought that was an interesting piece. But Kev, this isn't a huge deal, but it is a big deal, because it's Davantae Adams, one of the best, if not the best receiver in football. And just it's created this mass debate about, should he be, charged or not? Well, it doesn't matter if you think he should be charged or not. The guy that he shoved to the ground has the legal right to press charges, and that's what he did. Simple.
Looking at the video from my perspective, it looks like the photographer or whatever guy that works for ESPN was trying to get past Davantae before he crossed paths. It was kind of like, oh, let me hustle up to get to where I need to be because I know I shouldn't be in this spot right here, right now. Let me get over there. So they weren't paying attention to either. He wasn't paying attention to Davantae. He wasn't paying attention to the cameraman. And boom, he's in his way. And boom, he's on the ground. Just like that. And for the people out there that are saying the photographer should not be pressing charges, if he didn't press charges, he would be a fool. Look, man, this is a guaranteed lottery ticket. The amount, we don't know. It could be $50,000, could be $5,000, could be $1 million for all I know. He's going to get something. And if you won the lottery and you say, you know what, Ohio Lottery, never mind, you guys keep it. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that in any walk of life. He has an opportunity to cash in. We talked about this before the show about in baseball, where the guy that caught Aaron Judge's 60-second home run and everything like that, if he gave that back to Aaron Judge for free 99 or for an autographed jersey, he's a fool, because this is your opportunity to cash in. I know it sounds mean and I know it sounds cold-hearted, but guess what? Davantae Adams was at work. So was he. You can't go to your job and just start pushing people out of line at the coffee machine. So you just can't do that. And this is the price that Davantae Adams is going to have to pay. Do I believe that Davantae Adams is some mean guy that's just walking down Las Vegas Boulevard, just randomly walking up on people, pushing them into the street? No, he was heated. They lost. Somebody flashed in front of him. Get out of my way, man. And it happens. It's not the biggest deal in the world. It's not the end of the world. But Davantae Adams is going to be probably like $50,000 lighter than a wallet.
Yeah. Look, if I'm that photographer, even if I'm hurt or not, in the media, and someone comes up to me and an attorney says, hey, are you okay? He shoved you pretty hard. You want to know what my response is?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke
My back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Spinal.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. You put your hands on someone else. How stupid do you have to be? Like, I don't care. I'm so sick and tired of people doing the whole, well, he's heated after a game. I don't care. All you're telling me is the reason that he did it. You're not telling me that that doesn't absolve you of any blame whatsoever. You put your hands on someone else. I've had bad days at work. I'm not allowed to go over and shove Kevin because, now I feel so much better. Thanks, Kevin. Hey, let me help you up, buddy. No, there's people at work I love to shove. They get on my damn nerves. I'm sure I get on their nerves. People at this place would love to shove me, especially as we get closer to those steps that are just around the corner. But if they did that, they would be legally wrong, just like he's legally wrong. And I'm going to say it. I don't even care. I'm going to be very immature here. If you're trying to say that he shouldn't have charges pressed against, you're stupid. That's dumb. We sue for everything in this country.
Yeah.
You could probably sue me for calling you stupid and dumb, and some of you are soft to probably to do it. I'm just saying, bottom line is, this guy should sue him. He should. He literally put his hands on him. He did nothing wrong. He literally made a mistake. He didn't look both ways. Oh, my gosh. I mean, sue him, would you? I mean, he could sue you because he put his hands on him. It's not that hard. Brandon Kelty on YouTube. He's, Kenner, you are overblowing it. Laugh my ass off. How am I overblowing this? I'm not literally sitting here like if charges weren't pressed, I wouldn't even have talked about this today. The only reason we're talking about it is because everyone reacted to it. And I'm like, why are you getting mad at the person who's pressing charges? He should. And if you were shoved by him, you're stupid for not doing it either. That's your payday. Go get it. Go get it. The cameraman did nothing wrong. He literally, other than the fact that he didn't look both ways before he whatever, but there's also supposed to be security there holding everybody back so that they're out of the way of the player to begin with. So no, I'm not overblowing this. I'm not losing sleep over it, whether he presses charges or not. I don't really care. All I'm saying is these athletes, I'm just tired of them thinking that they could do whatever they want. Oh, I had a bad game, so I'm just going to go shove somebody. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is Brandon Kelty. This is the guy on YouTube or Facebook earlier today, Kev, that said if you look at the other angle, he walked right in front of him. So what? I'm at Walmart earlier. This old lady walked right in front of me. Does that mean I just get to shove her to the ground and say, well, Brandon Kelty with that caveman mindset of his, he said it's okay for me to do that? No. Everyone would look at me like I'm crazy for doing that. Everyone should look at Davantae Adams like he's crazy for doing what he did. And the fact that there's people out there saying that he shouldn't have charges pressed against him, I don't know what's wrong with you. I have no idea. I mean, you have bad days at work. You don't just go shove people because you had a bad day at work. You can do it. There'll be charges pressed against you, and then you just move on. Deal with the repercussions. That's what's happening here. I'm not overreacting to anything. I'm reacting to the dumbness of people who are trying to say that he should not have charges pressed against him. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. We can sue for anything in this country, and I'm surprised there's not the Kansas City Chiefs in that lawsuit. I'm surprised it's not ESPN in that lawsuit. Everybody's going to be in that lawsuit once everything's all said and done, because I was at work. If he works for Disney/ESPN, I was at work, workers' comp lawsuit, something. Like, he's going to be going to every doctor he can. And yeah, my back hurt, my neck hurt, emotional. My kids are being made fun of at school because I'm being created as a meme. People are joking about me, my mental anguish. Look, man, I ain't saying like that he's lying or he's just doing it for money, but I know what I would do if I was him. I would be doing it for the money. And if you're not, then you're a better person than me, because this is a payday, regardless of how much money it is. Trust me, he's going to get somewhere between $10,000 to $50,000. I'm not sure about you, Kenner, but I know you're giving away $2,000 of your own, but I'm sure you could use about another 10 G's in your bank account.
It is what it is. 518-1410, by the way, 518-1410. You want to call and jump in on the conversation, please do so. But Brandon says, you have made multiple posts about it. Yes, just like everyone out there, when this happened, made posts about it. I made one post about it on Monday. I didn't make a post about it yesterday. I posted about it today because the story expanded. I don't know how to over-explain it, but I understand why you're struggling to keep up with our conversation here. That's okay, but whatever. So we'll just continue to go on with this conversation. But bottom line is if I'm frustrated with someone at my job and I shove them down, yes, I will be legally in trouble, just like you would. Brandon, why don't you put your literally put your money where your mouth is? Why don't you just where do you work, Brandon? Where do you work? Where do you work? Just do me a favor. Go on Facebook Live and just go to a coworker, and just shove them, and then say, "Oh, my bad. I had a really bad day. This idiot on the radio really ticked me off today. He called me stupid, so I'm having a bad day. So I just took it out on you. My bad." And then move on. No, it's not gonna be that simple. 518-1410. Kev, who we got?
We got Doug, line one.
Doug, line one. I see more calls coming in, so we'll continue to take your calls. But Doug, kick us off, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. What you got for us?
I think that's what most of us would do. Wouldn't pass up a chance to get some money. But I guess what the other caller's talking about, and I agree, you're not really hurt, but you're going to pretend to be hurt. So it's a moral thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I mean, you can see the guy is hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy got $1 million, so I'm going to get some of it. And that's what the price you pay for being rich or being famous. Because if you
Doug, that's the price you pay for putting your hands on somebody. That's the price you pay for putting your hands on somebody. But yes,
I mean, but that's what it's about, because if you pushed him, he would probably just get up and fight you back. But when
intimidating.
See dollar signs and say, "Hey, I ain't gonna fight him back, but I'm gonna get him another way." So it's just a morals thing, you know.
So you saying I don't have any money?
No, I didn't mean you. I just meant
no. You're right, though. I do not have any money. I'm agreeing with
giving
you.
it all away.
You know, but most of the times when somebody famous do something, it's just about the money. It ain't about nothing else, because if somebody just push you for no reason, you probably gonna push them back or fight them or whatever. That's what you're normally gonna do. But if it's somebody with money, you're gonna I'm gonna sue them. So that's how that works. So that's just probably what the other person was talking about.
Yeah, but hey, Doug, appreciate the call, man. Thank you. But no, he's right. It does come down to, whether it's morally right or wrong. Bottom line is, we are more upset that a guy is executing his legal right to press charges than we are about the guy who threw a temper tantrum because he didn't catch a football and shoved someone to the ground. It's called being a bully. You're a professional athlete in the National Football League, and you push some defenseless cameraman down to the ground because he had the nerve to walk in front of you. My goodness. Give me a break. Kev, who's up?
We got Robert, line 2.
All right, let's go to line 2 with Robert. Robert, kick us off again. How are you, sir?
Okay. I'm going to comment on the incident. Now, the guy the photographer, he was an independent photographer, contractor, right?
I think he was with ESPN last I heard, but either way, it doesn't matter. The bottom line, photographer, yeah.
What I'm going to say, do y'all know that he signed a waiver to be on the field? You just can't be on the field. So I would suggest, for all the comments y'all making, to see what the independent contractor waiver signed about the bodily injury, who's responsible.
Oh, no, sir. With all due respect, it's not like a guy went diving out of bounds and just ran into him.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you go on an NFL football field, everybody ain't allowed on the field. It's just like if a football hit you dead in the head while you're standing on the sidelines. Well,
you
done signed a waiver about bodily injury, lose all your rights to sue, this, that, and that. Now, what y'all need to do is look up what the contract was that guy was in, then make your comments.
So hold on, Robert. Hold on. Wait. So you're saying a photographer, if they get hit, that's just on them?
I'm saying to be on a football professional field, he was an independent contractor. He had signed a waiver to be on the field in case he got hurt.
Okay. Heard you the first 3 times. So let me ask you this. Are you remember when Dennis Rodman kicked that photographer in the man region, like back in the 90s?
You talking about apples and oranges?
No. That's the exact same thing. That's the exact same thing. That's the exact. Yeah, he's
under the basket.
And this photographer was not like on the 10-yard line. He was at walking. They were walking into each other. Well, you never answered mine, so it's cool though.
What point was he coming from to walk into him? You think that's the only film you got? When it all comes together, that's the same thing they said about Deshaun Watson, 2016 when they went to the grand jury, they threw it in the trash can.
You want to talk about apples and oranges now? I mean, now we're talking.
No, I'm just saying anybody.
Those are way totally different. We're talking about a photographer in both cases with Dennis Rodman and
this. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do, sir. Tomorrow I'm gonna listen to you.
Appreciate it.
Find out what waiver that this guy has.
You find out since you know everything.
I already know. I know but I'm not going to enlighten you.
You calling our show. You calling our show.
Continue.
You can't put your hands on people. Period. You can't put your hands on people. Can't put your hands on people. Can't put your hands on people. Period.
I helped you out there.
Period. You can't put your hands on period. You can't do it. It's the same exact thing that happened with Dennis Rodman in the 90s. The photographer underneath the basket, Dennis Rodman kicks him in the gonads. Oh, so this dude don't have the right to sue Dennis Rodman? It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Look, I'm an athlete guy, but you can't put your hands on people. This is not a streaker coming out of left field trying to get seen on TV. Like when Bobby Wagner slammed the one guy last week. Those are 2 totally different things. Adams is at work, photographer at work. They're crossing paths. It's not like, oh, it's in the middle of the game. The game was over. Adams is headed to the locker room. Dude is headed to do whatever he's doing. They cross paths. Adams pushes him down because he's upset and he flashed in front of him. Fine. He apologized to the dude. And ultimately, from what that lawyer said, that probably is going to do him in because he admitted guilt, which is fine. Adams has a lot of money to pay him to go away, and that'll be that. But this is part of the price that famous people pay for being famous. Like, you have to be on your P's and Q's at all times. And people trying to explain in a way that, oh, no, the photographer was in the wrong. No, he's at work. He's at work. So wherever Robert works, if it's at Sam's Club or if you work at, down the street at Jiffy Lube, if somebody comes into your job and pushes you or a coworker pushes you, you have every right in the world to sue them as well.
Yeah, and I'm not defending that last caller at all. And Kev, you just can't talk to callers that way. You got to calm down. Kev, you need to calm down. Like, in our handbook, it says only Shaw we could talk to that way. No,
got it.
But that last caller, I know what he's trying to say. He's just way wrong. What he's trying to say, is that, yes, if you are a photographer, that a lot of times you're signing a waiver that if you're going to be near the court or near the field or near the action, that, you can't sue if a player runs into you, right, or if that, the action goes away from the court or the floor and ends up running into you or something along those lines. But that's not what this is. I know what Robert's trying to say, but Robert, I can't believe you can't understand that this is not that situation. This was after the game. This was him walking off the field as the clock hit 0. This was just him physically shoving someone because he was angry because he had the nerve to walk in front of him. That's the difference here. This isn't, Davantae Adams was leaping for a catch in the corner of the end zone, right, and ran into a photographer.
Right.
This is a guy that's upset about the outcome of a game, and people keep trying to bring that up like that's going to change my mind. I know why he's angry, but that's also why he did what he did. So,
right.
It is what it is. Look, I didn't think this was going to take off to this extent, but my goodness. So who was it a little bit ago? Yes, Mike Nympher on Facebook. You bring up a good point. If the cameraman shoved him, the cameraman would lose his job. Can you imagine if the photographer was looking down, just trying to what's a photographer buzzword that I could sound like I know what I'm talking about? Recalibrate.
Settings.
Let's say he was recalibrating his camera. Okay. Let's say he was just nerding it up, recalibrating his camera. And then Davantae Adams, this bum athlete, right? There's nobody. He had the nerve to walk in front of him. And then the photographer shoves Davantae Adams down. That'd be a hell of a shove, by the way. But no, that photographer, he'd be out. And we'd be appalled that someone put their hands on our professional athletes. My goodness. Come on, man. This ain't that hard to figure out. 518-1410, Kev, who's up?
Jesse.
How are you, sir? Welcome.
What's going on, fellas? I just called in to make a little joke. All of a sudden, Kev about to catch a damn case. All of a sudden.
Kevin is temporary. He just...
Well, Justin, you've called me stupid and dumb many times. So do you mind doing that again and using my full name? It's Jesse Terry, Terry, and I'll record it. And
for emotional.
I just want to have it recorded. I'm a little low on rent right now, but I didn't really have much to say. Honestly, if I was that man, I would walk up to Davantae Adams and be like, man, give me $10,000 and I ain't never seen your face before. Just give me $10,000. We ain't got to worry about none of this. And I ain't never even heard of you. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go through the whole process. That's just me though. But
and by the way, in this report, it does state that he potentially suffered a concussion. It may have hurt his neck. Okay. You're right. Oh, hold on. But what if he did? And the NFL, they're all so big on these concussions, right? I mean, they're getting angry about a team for following the concussion protocol when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. So let's say that actually did happen. I mean, don't we got to really respect this situation too? Look, we don't know any of the details as far as what's real and what's not, as far as any of the injuries that he sustained or did not. Bottom line is the one thing we can all agree on, just keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
You don't shove somebody, you do one of those, what's that Midwest thing? All you had to do was do the, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, my bad. And then
how many times have you gone to a concert, somebody step on your shoe? Oh, my bad. It happens. Like, these type of things happen.
Every time.
But I mean, look at it this way. How many people or lawyers out there, what do they call them? Like ambulance chasers?
Yep.
How many people call? Exactly. How many people was blowing up this guy's phone when they saw that? They're probably at home watching the end of the game, whatever. And like, oh, man. And then they saw that happen. And they like calling up their assistant, like, man, we got to get this guy's phone number ASAP. We can sue. We can make some money. Like, it is what it is. Maybe this guy wasn't even thinking about doing it. Maybe it just was going to chalk it up or whatever. And he got, maybe his wife was like, hey, we can sue for this. Or he got a call from somebody else like, we can sue, we can make some money. Look, even if it is only making money opportunity, that's the American way.
Yep.
Hey,
So.
Kev, I'm just hoping Wing don't give you 30 days because God knows you can't get through the phones with just Kenny there. We need you, man. So just tone it down a little bit, homie.
No doubt.
Jesse, talk to you later. Unless
Yeah.
Kev's not here, then I ain't
Later,
going to talk to you for a while. 518-1410, 518-1410. Like, I don't know. How much money you think he's going to get? You think he's going to get $2,000?
Yeah. More than that.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be Davantae Adams today. I'm going to give you my
What
money.
happened to my stack? Somebody stole my stack of bread.
Well, where is your stack of money?
I'm for real. Where did it go?
I tried to use that lunch today.
It didn't work.
There's just some money floating through. All right, folks, it's the Kinner's Cash Contest right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM every day. We'll be giving out $2,000 of my own cash. All you got to do is be listening for that winning word. You take that winning word and enter it at wingam.com. All right, let's get rolling here. Take the winning word dress, DRESS. Take the winning word dress to wingam.com and enter it for your chance to win $2,000. We'll have another opportunity for you coming up here in the next hour. But one more time, dress, DRESS. Enter that at wingam.com for your chance to win $2,000. All right, folks, more of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
Stop it. Here comes the new kid on the block. Hold on your bets. Here's where the buck stops. See, first of all, I'm stepping out on my own.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The new Google Pixel 7 Pro is super, especially when it's on Verizon, the network America relies on. It's supercharged, super powered, and a super...
deal.
You know it. Now, switch to Verizon and get the Google Pixel 7 Pro on us with select trade-ins and select 5G unlimited plans.
That really is super.
Yep. There's never been a better time to switch to Verizon. $899.99 device payment purchase with new smartphone line on select 5G unlimited plans required. $200 Verizon e-gift card with ported. Less $700 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions and additional terms apply.
2000, 2008, 2022. When it comes to the economy, those are some scary years. .com crash, housing crash, and the roller coaster we're going through right now. It's a dangerous time to not know your numbers. But over 31,000 businesses have the confidence and clarity they need because they rely on NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, improve margins. Everything you need all in one place. So, how do you prepare for uncertain times? The answer, NetSuite. NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your business processes, and easily see where to save money. That's why 93% of customers say they improved their visibility and control when they upgraded to NetSuite. What are you waiting for? NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
Don't put it off. Hey, have you heard? $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight with brand new equipment, and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, company 401k. Plus, they're now hiring recent truck driving school graduates. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy inherited properties, vacant homes, rentals, commercial properties, and apartment buildings. Give us a call today and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Menards is your bathroom and plumbing headquarters. Complete your bathroom update with our selection of over 300 Delta products. From faucets and shower heads to tubs, accessories, and more. You're sure to find a Delta product that's right for you. Build your dream bathroom today with 11% off. All Delta products now at Menards. Good through October 16th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
It's time for frickin' football. Frickers has a way to make this the winning season. Try a frickin' chicken taco, grilled chicken taco, or Mississippi barbecue taco for a limited time. Enjoy a 48-ounce personal pitcher of domestic draft beer.
I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
All the games of college and the NFL at the place that leads the way with inflation-busting prices, everyday values, and where kids eat free. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kenner. He's Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM. Kev Nash will join us coming up here in just a few moments. He had to pop out for just a second. But 518-1410, 518-1410, that's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Definitely ready to move on from this conversation. That is for sure. But, of course, we open up the show with reaction to Davantae Adams being charged with misdemeanor assault for his shove on the cameraman after Monday Night Football's matchup between, of course, his Las Vegas Raiders and, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, coming up here in hour number 2, we will talk with, of course, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz, NFL Week 5 reaction, of course, and we'll also talk about the college football playoff picture as that has started to shape up a bit. So we'll talk about this with Jason Fitz coming up around the corner. He is a huge Raiders fan, so excited to kind of hear what he has to say regarding this situation. But look, do I think it's the end of the world? Do I think that he's a horrible person? No, but he made a decision, and that decision has led to the ramifications of this guy pressing charges. He has every legal right to do so. At the end of the day, you're more mad. Like, are we as a society more mad at the person for pressing charges than we are at the guy for physically putting his hands on somebody else? I'm not trying to sound like that annoying do-gooder, but at the end of the day, I think we all have the right to go through our day-to-day without having someone else put their hands on us. And if they do, these are the legal ramifications put in place that we can handle the situation. I have no issue with it. I don't really care either way. If he pressed charges, cool. If he didn't, so be it. I'm not really reacting to this aggressively. Me and Kev are jumping into this conversation because you guys are reacting so passionately about it. That's what I love. Everyone blames media for, well, you guys focus too much on this. Do you realize that in every form of media, whether it's print, whether it's online print, whether it's radio, whether it's television, whether it's social media, do you realize that you guys are responsible for the content that is on our airwaves, that is on television, that's in print and in online print and social? Everything that people do is so that you will tune in, right? And people talk about the things that you guys are talking about because that's where your interests are. I love when people do that. You want to know my favorite line? When they think they've cracked the code of Kinner. Oh, I know what you're doing, Kinner. You're doing that for clicks. Oh, I know what you're doing, Kinner. You're doing that so people will tune in. Well, you want to know a little secret? When I was hired to do this job, you want to know what my bosses kind of said? They said, we kind of want people to tune in. So yeah, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point, to talk about things that you'll tune in for, right? Like, that's why we talk a lot of NFL, because that's what everyone loves is the NFL. So I love when people think they've cracked the code. Oh, that guy, he's doing it for clicks. That's because people are clicking on it. You know what I mean? Like, I love when people do this. They get mad at people for doing what works. You're only talking NFL because that's what? That's what? What am I talking NFL for? Oh, because that's what most of the people want to talk about. There's not a topic out there that is going to universally appease everybody. Our friend Ann Anderson, she listens to the show. She's a regular, love her to death. She is always contributing in the chat section. She's not happy with us right now because we're not talking enough baseball. The bottom line is that there is not, if I talk baseball, Ann Anderson is pleased, but then there's going to be a whole lot of other people that are like, well, I don't really care about baseball. I want to talk about the NFL because the NFL is king. College football is king. So trying to find that balance to appease everybody, it's tough, but it is what it is. It's what we have to do. So for those of you out there who say, you're just talking about this just to get listens. Yes, that's kind of how it works. That's kind of what I'm paid to do. That's like getting mad at do you think people that write for newspapers are writing something so that you don't read it? Do you think we talk about things so that you won't listen to us? Do you think that news stations put things on the news and put things on TV so that you won't watch it? No. So stop trying to act like you cracked the code of Kinner. You haven't. You've just figured out that, hey, maybe you do have a little common sense when it comes to, hey, there's reasons why media members do what they do. I don't know why I just went on that little rant, but I just got an email during the break that really irritated me. So I decided to rant a little bit, and Kev's not here to monitor all of it. But, it is what it is. All right. I'm Justin Kinner with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. No Ohio State football coming up this weekend. Ohio State finally has that bye week, which is good because, of course, they're trying to heal up. One thing we're going to talk about later on is just how healthy is this Buckeye team, and at what point will the health or the lack of health for Ohio State catch up with them. It's easy to have basically playing musical chairs on the injured list whenever you have so much depth at all these positions, but it's easy to handle that when you're playing the weaker portion of your schedule, when you're playing a really, really bad Notre Dame team, when you're playing Arkansas State. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing these bad Big Ten teams, it's easy to overcome the injuries, to be without, obviously, Trevion Henderson, to be without Mayan Williams, to have, at one point, they won a game 2 weeks ago where CJ Stroud only threw the ball for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And if you would have told me that there was a game this season that CJ Stroud would only throw for 150, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and that you would not have had Trevion Henderson, and that you would not have had Jackson Smith and Jigba, I would have said, holy crap, they must have come really, really close to losing to a bad team, or they got blown out by a good team. And they still won by 40. And none of their starters played in the fourth quarter. So the depth has been deep enough for them to overcome it. That's why I think this bye week coming up here this weekend is so important. Listening to Ryan Day last night on the Buckeye Roundtable talk about the importance of, not wanting to overwork this group heading into the bye week, taking advantage of this week to let guys physically kind of heal up, focus on their homework, focus on their studies, of course, and then kind of hit the ground running again as they prepare next week for Iowa. They got Penn State off in the distance as well. I'm not ready to say that Iowa could potentially be a trap game, but it does have the markings of what a trap game actually is. It's a very, very weak opponent that maybe you're not coming out of the bye week 1,000% fired up and ready to go to prepare for Iowa, but you have that big one with Penn State coming up around the corner. I'm not worried about Iowa. but we've seen Iowa catch Ohio State napping in years past. All right. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that big loss to Iowa came 1 week after they had that huge comeback win against Penn State with C.J. Stroud and company years ago. That's Justin Fields, I'm sorry, I believe. But either way, it was one of those situations. No, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. J.T. Barrett. That was the guy. When they beat Penn State, they came back from behind. Then all of a sudden, he was a Heisman candidate, and everyone was talking about J.T. Barrett and the Buckeyes, and then they got blitzed by 30 the following week against Iowa. So that's kind of where we're at now, coming out of a bye week. You've taken your foot off the gas and prepping. I'm a little worried about that Iowa game a week from Saturday. Do I think that they're better than Ohio State? Not even close. They have no offensive firepower whatsoever, but they do have a very, very good physical defense that if Ohio State comes out and they're not mentally tough and ready to go, I could be a little concerned about the potential of a trap game elements being involved here, and that's something to keep an eye on. But again, not a whole lot of Buckeye talk this week, of course, as they're off. We'll be keeping our eye on some of the bigger college football matchups, Michigan and Penn State this weekend, obviously. So a lot of big games coming up that we'll be focusing on in the college football side of things, which we will get to with the ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz coming up next hour. When Kev comes back, we'll get into our NFL power rankings. We'll recap the Guardians' loss against the Yankees last night in Game 1. Talk about how important Game 2 is tonight for the Tribe or for the Guardians. Could we still call them the Tribe? I know they're not the Idiots, they're the Guardians, but do we still call them the Tribe for short? I don't really know the rules of this whole thing. Either way, we'll talk Tribe, we'll talk Guardians, we'll talk baseball, we'll talk whatever the hell you want. We'll be right back. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Wendy's new French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's new French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. When you download the Home Depot app, taking on big or small projects starts with a tap. It's your pocket-sized toolbox for getting more done. Image search helps you find what you need with a snap. Store mode pinpoints exactly where to go to get what you want while you're at our store. Or just tap to arrange for easy curbside pickup. All from the palm of your hand. It's the app that's made for doing. The Home Depot app. How doers get more done.
Houday Nation, Betfred has come all the way from England to the great state of Ohio with over 50 years of sports betting experience. No emperors, no movie stars, just a sportsbook you can trust. The Betfred Sportsbook app will be available on January 1st, 2023. Until then, download the Bengals app or go to betfredsports.com and have a chance to win Bengals tickets and exclusive merchandise. Official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. For a limited time, we have 22 Honda Passports and 22 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9% and 2022 Honda Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%. Remember, we can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build new Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. We're on Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Urology Specialists of Ohio are here for you. Men, your good health is important to them. Their knowledge of specific male anatomy, prostate issues, and how to help in your healing is their main focus. Urology Specialists of Ohio are now accepting new patients at all locations: Beaver Creek, Springfield, Urbana, Xenia, and London. They have been in practice for over 20 years with over 80 years of experience between 5 physicians. Call today. They can schedule your appointment in a timely manner with little wait time. Online at urologyspecialistofohio.com.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Early voting in Ohio's 2022 election starts on October 12th, and Ohio students are counting on us to make sure the best pro-public education candidates end up in office. Ohio voters really care about solutions like addressing teacher shortages, expanding mental health services, and keeping students safe in schools. Be sure to vote.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash hanging out with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Give us a call, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Speaking of the conversation, Kev, Mr. Kelty is still not happy. He's upset.
What's the problem?
Basically, he's upset. He said I wouldn't call people stupid for not going after cash grabs. My thing is this, is if the
You didn't say that.
I did. I definitely said that.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I thought you didn't. I know I said that.
Oh, you did?
I definitely said that.
Oh, yeah. I'm just so used to being the one saying wrong things. You didn't say anything wrong. Bottom line is Brandon Kelty is your typical, do-gooder. Oh, the American way is you just do everything right. And my goodness, if someone shoves you down, you don't sue back. You just get up and say, sorry for standing in your way, sir. And off you go. No, that's not what you do. And the bottom line is, Kev, even if he doesn't have an injury, okay, even if he's not hurt, all right, even if his back's just fine,
Your back is
all right,
broken.
even if it's not spinal,
or what portion? Spinal.
Even if it's not spinal, if someone put their hands on you, you're allowed to sue. Bottom line, period. It's that simple. Brandon, like you're sitting there saying it's a cash grab. He's going after. Yes, if you open that door because you're stupid enough to put your hands on somebody, yes, they have the right to do that. That doesn't make them a bad person. Brandon, do you realize how dumb you sound? You are more outraged by the person suing the guy for them physically pushing them to the ground than upset at the guy who physically pushed someone to the ground. Like, what world? Stop pretending to be this do-gooder that puts a Superman cape on and saves puppies from burning buildings and stuff. Quit it. I'm not buying it. I don't think you're that good of a person, probably. There's no way you're that good of a person that you think that you're a do-gooder, that, oh, man, there's just no way. If a professional athlete shoved me to the ground and I had $1 million payday potentially in front of me, there's no way I would take advantage of that.
Life must be real good.
It may be.
Look,
maybe
man.
You're the kind of guy, maybe you have a lot of money, and I hope you shove me one day. That's all I got to say. Maybe you're set. I don't know. But stop doing this pompous, arrogant, I can't believe that you guys are mad at people who would morally do the right thing and not sue. Why wouldn't you sue? He put his hands on you. You're mad at the wrong dude. Like, I don't get it. Don't put your hands on people. Do you have kids? I don't know if you have kids or not, but I'm pretty sure if you do, I have a feeling like you get calls from the school all the time because your kids can't keep the damn hands to themselves. You just tell them, just go slap people if they stand in your way. I don't know. Either way. How about this? How about this transition? Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today with promo code Kinner, my promo code Kinner, my last name, Kinner, you'll be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio starting in January of 2023. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. If you gamble, though, isn't that a cash grab? Aren't you hoping to? I don't know. I don't know how this moral thing works. I don't know. Then you can bet on all your favorite teams. Now I'm reading the same line twice because I'm distracted. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and super easy to use. Dayton, this is your chance to get in on the action. Join today with my promo code Kinner, Kinner. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I wonder what the over-under is on games Davantae Adams suspended for. I really don't care if he gets suspended or not. He's probably going to get suspended now because of this. Who knows? I don't think this is as big a deal as what the show has turned into today with it.
There's a lot of moral people out there. Like I believe that I am a high moral person, but if somebody does me wrong and I have an opportunity to cash in majorly, I'm going to do it. This isn't a situation where a random Joe and you get into it at Walmart because they probably ain't got no money either. This is a millionaire, a millionaire 10 times over. Forget the fact that he's an athlete. If this was, I don't know, what's the dude that owned Amazon? What's his name?
What, the Bezos dude?
Bezos. If he did it, if he pushed me, I'm suing him. And I just don't believe people when they say they wouldn't sue. I just don't believe them. I just don't. So if you get into a car accident, somebody rear ends you, you're not going to sue them because that's what this is. You can't rear end people. You can't push people. Period. You can't put your hands on people. I don't understand how people are so up in arms about this. Like, oh, no, it's cool. It's not cool. You can't do that. It's pretty clear. It isn't like a situation where you at a pickup basketball game and both of you are playing the game and you guys get into a heated argument and then you get into a fight. No, that's totally different. If somebody was going to say, no, you can't sue him then, okay, because you both were playing. He was at work, you're at work. He pushes you, you can sue. That's how it goes.
Adam Selzner says, Kev is 100% right.
True.
100%. Well, Shaw says, go ahead, sue me. You aren't getting anything. But I get your point, Kev.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't a regular Joe Schmo at Walmart or any other place in town where you're probably not going to get anything. This is somebody that got some money. And if you want to call it a cash grab, call it what you want. Because if you don't cash in on it, you're a fool. Just like if you're at a baseball game and you caught Barry Bonds home run and you just say, here, Mr. Bonds, here's your baseball bat. Oh, here's an autographed bat for you, young lad. No, you take that to them dudes that be selling stuff at all these conventions and everything like that, and you cash out. That is your lottery ticket. You paid the money to go to the game. You caught the ball fair and square. It's time to get paid.
So Brandon Kelty, the do-gooder, he He's been rear-ended and wasn't hurt, and he didn't sue.
You're a fool. You're a fool.
Slow clap. By the way, rear-ended, probably an accident, right? An accident. Rear-end. Oh, man. Whatever. Someone wasn't trying to physically harm you on purpose. And by the way, you didn't sue. Great. Good for you. If you did, you know what I'd say? Good. You had every right to do so. That's fine. That's what insurance is for.
Right. Long as they covered your vehicle and you were cool.
This is not the same thing. Davantae Adams acting like a child, throwing a temper tantrum because he lost a football game, and then shoved a cameraman because he had the nerve to walk in front of him. That is not the same thing as you not suing someone rear-ending you. It's not the same thing. You got to do better than that if you want to prove that in that situation you would do the right thing. Brandon, if you were that photographer and Davantae Adams shoved you, would you just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be in your way"? No.
Sorry,
you keep calling me Charmin Soft. I think that's Charmin Soft, just letting someone punk you and push you down and not do anything about it. I mean, I'm not a fighter. I'm 5'5". I ain't gonna do much. But I'd just look at Davantae Adams and be like, "Oh, my neck,
my back, my neck, and my back."
What else?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Is what it is. Jason Fitz joins us next hour. We'll get his thoughts. He's a big Raiders fan, so I'm curious his thoughts as far as that's concerned. But Kev, real quick, something we're going to talk about to kick off the next hour. Our dude Brad Mays, he brought up an interesting point that I hadn't thought about when it comes to, we're going to talk Buckeyes on the other side. Brad Mays brought up a point too about concussions in the NFL and Joe Burrow and the Bengals. We'll get to that around the corner. But is this Iowa game a week from Saturday a trap game?
No.
It's not.
No.
I believe it's a trap game. All right, see, this is one of those moments, people. Where Kev might have a chance to sue me if he keeps laughing at me like this. I'm about to go on Davantae Adams on Kev Nash if he keeps laughing at me.
Maryland.
We can
go with Maryland as a trap game. Iowa couldn't score on me and you playing defense.
The purpose of a trap game is a team that has no business beating you and that you overlook them because there's a good opponent coming up. That's the whole purpose of a trap game. We'll be right back. Kevin's going to sue. He's going to sue.
I'll start giving away $2,000 of my own money if Iowa wins.
You'll be giving away my money too. We'll be right back.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps for big screen football.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Browse over 40 hot tubs from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton. Visit HotTubOH.com.
Make the big game sound even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc's crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors, short throw projectors from 100-inch to 130-inch, all the way to your high-end dream system. Audio Etc has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back-ordered or out out of stock. Get special deals on a TV and your dream system today. Audio Etc. can bring any big game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. If you can't afford your dream system, check out our huge selection of vintage and pre-owned components. Audio Etc. Powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of. 551 Congress Park Drive in Centerville.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
If you're looking to obtain a quality education at a low price, look no further than Clark State. With over 160 degrees and certificates available, Clark State has a path for you to reach your goals. Our tuition rates are one of the lowest in Ohio, so getting that degree is easier than ever without breaking the bank. For more information about Clark State, visit us at www.clarkstate.edu.
Make the big game sound even bigger with your new TV and sound system from Audio Etc. There is nothing better than a home theater or high-fidelity music system from Audio Etc. 4K is amazing, but just imagine the 8K experience. Come to Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom today and experience 8K TVs and projectors, short throw projectors from 100-inch to 130-inch, all the way to your high-end dream system. Audio Etc. has tons of new inventory in stock, while everybody else is back-ordered or out of stock. Get special deals on a TV and your dream system today. Audio Etc. can bring any big game home. It's better than being there. You have to see it to believe the incredible quality of the picture and sound. If you can't afford your dream system, check out our huge selection of vintage and pre-owned components. Audio Etc. Powered by Klipsch, Bowers & Wilkins, SVS, Marantz, Denon, Sony, and a whole list of high-performance brands that you've probably never heard of. 551 Congress Park Drive in Centerville.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
And we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Hour number 2, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz will join us about a half hour from now. We'll hang out with him. We'll talk about his Raiders. We'll talk about the big fallout from NFL Week 5 heading into Week 6, of course. And then we're just a couple weeks away from that very first college football playoff poll coming out. And as that picture starts to shape up a bit, we'll talk about that with him coming up here around the corner. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Message was sent into the show asking whether or not I believed Iowa was a trap game. And Kev apparently thought he was at the Funny Bone and I was the main act up there on stage. I mean, my goodness, he is just rolling right now. And I don't know how when you have the biggest game of the season coming up, this is the bigger game than what Notre Dame was because Notre Dame isn't anything. Penn State's the biggest opponent that Ohio State's had up to this point. That's coming up in 2 weeks. That is a huge game for Ohio State. It's probably a bigger game for Penn State than it is Ohio State, but it's a big game for both as both teams just positioning themselves for how the committee is going to view them. I think Ohio State's obviously in very good shape. Don't get me wrong. But, Kev, I don't know how you can look at Iowa as the exact definition of what a trap game is. I don't know why you're laughing so hard. A trap game is an opponent that has no chance of beating you because you took your eye off the prize and you're looking ahead. I don't care about their offense being bad. Of course Iowa's not good. That's what makes them a trap game. If they were good, if they were a top 10 team, I wouldn't be saying that they're a trap game. I'd be saying, all right, they got two good opponents back to back. Kev, it's a trap game. They're the exact definition of what a trap game is.
Not a chance in hell. Not a chance. Not a chance.
That doesn't change the fact that it's not a trap game.
Maryland is a trap game.
They're both trap games. You don't get one trap game a year.
Maryland is a trap game because Maryland can actually move the ball. Iowa cannot move the ball. And their defense isn't as good as it was last year. Iowa is not a trap game. I view a trap game as an opponent that you, quote unquote, should beat, but actually is decent. Iowa is not decent, especially this year. Ohio State will blow them out just like they blew out Michigan State. The only team on Ohio State's schedule not named Penn State and Michigan that can give them a scare is Maryland. That's a trap game.
Okay. For one, Maryland still should not even come close to beating Ohio State. Maryland is a trap game. I agree with you. So is Iowa. Maryland is a better opponent than Iowa, but they're both trap games.
So their whole schedule is trap games?
No, because next week after Penn State, who do they play after Penn State?
After Penn State, they travel to Northwestern.
So obviously Penn State's not a trap game. Then they play Indiana after Northwestern.
Right.
Northwestern's not a trap game because Indiana's not an opponent that they're worried about either. So no. And a trap game is a very, very weak opponent that comes right before a very, very good opponent, and everyone's gearing up and getting excited for that very, very good opponent, and you're kind of overlooking the bad opponent. That's a trap game. It's not even Iowa is the exact definition of a trap game. It's not whether or not you believe they could beat them or not. That doesn't make them a trap game or not. Of course, you shouldn't think that they could beat them. That's what makes them a trap game. 518-1410. 518-1410. Give us a call. Is Iowa a trap game? Y'all need to understand what the hell a trap game is. It's not a game that you think Ohio State has no chance of losing. Then if they had of course, that's what makes it a trap game. Iowa, they should not lose to Iowa. Iowa is bum, especially offensively. They should, if they're, look, Ohio State's Davantae Adams and Iowa is the photographer. Ohio State should just run right over him. Run right over him. But it's a trap game. Not saying Iowa's going to win. I don't even believe that they're going to win. But if Ohio State's overlooking them and just focused on Penn State, that's all I'm saying. Trap game.
What's the over-under?
I don't even know.
Over. Way over. Way over. And y'all know I'm not that guy. Y'all know I'm not that guy. But they don't stand a chance in hell.
I didn't say that they did, but it's a trap game. It's not the opponent. It's a trap game. This is situation. That situation. That's what, the more you try to convince me that Iowa has no chance, and I agree with you, that is just making me even more right about it being a trap game. That's what makes it a trap game. A trap game is an opponent you have no business losing to, beating you because you overlooked him to look to the opponent that you might not have as good a chance of beating. That's a trap game.
Here we go. UrbanDictionary.com because
Why
it's not
Urban Dictionary?
It's not in Webster's. That's why.
Is it like I don't know, just read the urban definition.
A trap game is a game played against an opponent generally deemed to be easy to defeat.
That's Iowa.
That is to your credit. So by Urban Dictionary's definition.
And I've always been told I'm pretty urban. Meyer.
I guess you're correct. I guess.
Okay, I'll say less annoying. That's what I was thinking, though. That's why I was like, the trap game itself. I don't believe Iowa could beat Ohio State.
As a result, the person or team may not be prepared for the game and lose to the formidable opponent. Goodness gracious. Let's look up interim coach on Urban Dictionary.
So, real quick. Am I right?
Kenner's right, Kev's wrong.
Yes! Yes, it's a good day. This is a good day.
But Kev,
let's make sure we
agree with you too. There is no chance they're going to lose
I was
to
gonna
Iowa.
say.
But like the more we say that there's no chance they can lose to Iowa, the more I'm doubling down that that's what makes it a trap game. It doesn't mean that I'm saying Iowa's going to win. And Iowa, and by the way, Ohio State beating Iowa does not change the fact that they won a trap game. You can't.
But this does not say anything about the opponent that you play in the following week.
Well, then every bad team's a trap game.
Exactly. That's what I
not
was
the
just
case.
saying.
When
You want me to find the definition that suits your? Want me to go to somebody else?
Yes.
Urban
find me.
Dictionary's not doing
This
it for
is
you
like
anymore.
Fox and CNN. Let me listen to the messages that appease. I don't care about who's right or wrong. I just want a station that's going to tell me what I believe. That way, whatever. But here, the man to clear it all up for us. The man, the myth, the legend. He's here to talk to you, Kev. You talk to him. You deal with him.
Shaw was good.
How you doing, brother?
Chilling. What's a trap game to you? Give me your definition of a trap game.
You're both correct.
See?
In the actual definition of it, yes, Kenner is unfortunately correct. But the reason I agree with you, Kev, is because would you please just hush for a second and let the adults talk?
Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah.
Anyhow, it's because Iowa gives Ohio State, there's no fear there. You already said it. I mean, their offense is atrocious. If you don't give them short field, they have no chance of scoring. Unfortunately, Michigan did that twice. And then defensively, I'm sorry, your weapons will destroy that defense. So you're both correct because yes, Penn State, big game the next week, yada, yada, yada. You're coming off your bye week. There's the opponent rolling into the shoe. But outside of that, there is no other fear of losing to Iowa at all.
There is no fear. That's what makes it a trap game. No one heads into a trap game saying, oh, this team's going to beat us. They head into that game saying, man, let's just go beat this team's ass so we can move on to next week and play a respectable opponent. And then guess what? You start feeling yourself a little too much, and then you ended up getting popped in the mouth. That's what makes it a trap game. No one heads into a trap game thinking they're going to lose that trap game. They say, we ain't going to lose to Iowa. They think like the way Kev's talking. They're like, they laugh too. An Iowa fan says, we might beat you. It's a trap game. Buckeye fans laugh the way Kev did. And then what happens? Remember when Iowa beat us by 30? Remember when Purdue beat us by 30? Woofa.
Big difference between those teams.
Those trap games, by the way.
Those teams have pros on them.
But those weren't trap games, by the way.
And those were
I would consider that Iowa game a trap game coming off that emotional victory, comeback victory over Penn State, where JT balled out of control.
Of a trap game. That just means that they were
Not
emotionally tired. And by the way, JT Barrett 1 for 1. First pass, pick 6, baby. He threw a touchdown pass.
That game was at Kinnick, though.
Yeah. Tell him.
No, tell me what.
That game was at Kinnick, and the Purdue game was at Purdue. You're at home. I'm not disagreeing with you full-heartedly, Kenner. I'm not.
But you either are disagreeing with me or you're not. There's no in between. It's either a trap game or it's not. I don't know why you're trying to do this like political thing of, well, you're both right. No, it's either a trap game or it's not.
You are both correct.
That can't be right. Kev says it's not a trap game. I say it's a trap game. How can we both be correct?
Because by the definition of the law, yes, it's a trap game. Because
are you an attorney too?
Here we go. Because after the bye week, and yes, you could overlook Iowa and yada yada yada. Yes, you are correct, Kenner. You are, but
nothing. That's it. That's my opinion. Is it's a trap game. Kevin says it's not a trap game. Therefore, I am correct. It's a trap game.
There's room for nuance here.
Says who?
Says anybody that wants to look at this realistically.
Realistically, it's a trap game. Realistically, it's a game Ohio State should win and should throttle. And and by the way, not by 21. All right. I mean, we're talking
if Ryan Day allows this football team, this Ohio State football team, to overlook Iowa, not a Rutgers, not a Northwestern, not anybody else. If Ryan Day allows this football team to overlook Iowa off a bye week, then he's a worse coach than what I thought he was.
Oh.
And I think he's very good, by the way. I think he's very good. I think this is Ohio State's national championship to lose. If they allow Iowa to roll into the shoe and beat them, then everything I've thought about this Ohio State team and Ryan Day is completely out of the water. I don't know anything, and I'll raise my hand to it, and I'm wrong, and yada, yada,
That
yada.
I agree with.
Run it. You can run it all the way until the horses come home. There is zero. It's negative integers chance of beating Ohio State this year for Iowa.
Okay, I'm not saying they're going to beat Ohio State. I'm not. I'm just saying it's a trap game. Like I saw on Facebook right now or YouTube, Brandon Kelty, him and I are real close, probably as close as me and you, Sean. Right. Brandon says, I think every game is a trap game except good teams. No, because what makes a trap game is playing a really, really bad team that you are overlooking because you're concentrating so much on that good team coming up. Kev bringing up Maryland is 1,000,000,000% correct. Maryland is another trap game. That's no one's, you don't get gold pants for beating Maryland. No one cares about beating Maryland. You have to beat Maryland because if you lose to Maryland, guess what? Then that really does water down the matchup with Michigan. No, so everyone's going to be so geared up and excited about that Michigan game that they may overlook Maryland. Well, everyone's so geared up and excited about the Penn State game. You need a good team on the other end of a bad team to make it a trap game. That's why it's a trap game. You're going to get trapped. Yeah. That's why they call it a trap game.
That's why, by the definition, you are correct.
Thank you. That's what you just have to stop right there. That's it.
No, but you can't. There is nuance
and
in
Brad
life.
Mays is correct. You said till the horses come home. It's till the cows come home.
I didn't realize I was being investigated on every tiny word I said.
Well, I mean, you are a lawyer.
I am?
That's what you said.
Where's the paychecks?
Since you're a lawyer, Shaw, since we know that you're a lawyer now, what would you have told the photographer from the Kansas City Chiefs game?
In my lawyer, with my lawyer hat on, I'd have told him to sue him too.
So what about without your lawyer hat, just regular Michigan fan, Shaw?
I would still say sue him because, but where I disagree with you a little bit is just if we're normal Joes and we have a car wreck, I'm not going to sue that person, but you're sitting at, yes, it is about that payday. You got wronged by a guy who makes millions and millions of dollars. He was frustrated because he dropped the ball and they had a horrible game and he was walking off the field. And so what that you were in the way? You pushed him to the ground and none of us here were there. None of us listening to the show was there. We don't know if he had a concussion or what he didn't do. And that's irrelevant. He pushed him. He's going to get sued. It's that easy. I don't really understand if it's anything more than that. I don't.
All right, Shaw, appreciate the call.
Yes, sir. See you.
518-1410. Don't even know. Oh, yes, trap game or not. 518-1410. Kev, who's up next?
Matt.
Let's go to Matt. Matt, thanks for holding, sir. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on? Long time.
Yes, it's been a while, man. What you got for us?
Well, the fan rankings are coming out. I figured I better call in. I still listen every day.
There you go.
So,
you got to be in the running. You got to, we got to call, be interactive on social media. You got to see your face from time to time at remotes. There's a lot that you can't hit all three of them, but 2 or 3 has to be strong. Those are the criteria.
Yeah, I'll remind you that it's been a while, but the last 4 times I've called in, I have agreed with you. I don't know if that goes for anything.
I like pandering is pretty solid. You're going to get those pandering points.
Maddie, you're stooping to that level.
Yeah, good for Matt.
Agreeing with Kenner.
Yeah.
I got to get in the top 25, man. Come on.
It's got to be ranked. It's a top 10. It comes out weekly, starting next week.
Man,
this Friday,
I tell you, I worry about every Ohio State game until I got a 3-touchdown lead. I don't care if we're playing Arkansas State or whoever, but I'm with you. I think Iowa's a trap game. I think potentially if the right things happen this weekend, Ohio State could, let's say, somehow solidify themselves even more as a number one. Then you got 2 weeks. Well, I'm saying if Tennessee beats Alabama, of course. But, if some of those teams fall this weekend while we're not playing, and then, okay, here's Ohio State sitting at the top of the mountaintop, and that's 2 straight weeks of, all these kids hearing, we're the best team, blah, blah, blah. Who knows what could happen? That's a trap game to me. But I also agree with Kevin. I think Maryland is a bigger trap game than Iowa is.
Well, hold on. You're going to lose points here. That's not what the conversation was. The conversation was, is Iowa a trap game? Kev said, no, it's not a trap game. Maryland's a trap game, and then proceeded to give all the reasons of why Maryland is a trap game, and those are the same reasons why Iowa's a trap game. We weren't debating which one was a bigger trap game, but I will agree if we want to have that debate, then yes, Maryland is a bigger trap game because I think they possess a skill set that makes them more dangerous than in Iowa, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a trap game. Continue, Matt. I'm just being a child and having to make sure I'm pointing out the differences.
Well,
Continue.
Again, if stuff happens Saturday, I think Iowa has the potential to become a bigger trap game, right? Let's say it's Penn State and Michigan this week, right?
Yes, and by the way, Indiana was a trap game for that team up north, and they were tied at halftime.
I agree with you.
And they were only up 17-10 after 3 quarters. You know?
I think they were only up 17-10 with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
They dominated.
But here's what I'm saying. What happens? Michigan loses to Penn State this week. Penn State's riding super high, right? And then, they're moved up. If Penn State beats Michigan this week, there's a potential Penn State could jump up possibly, to the top 5 or close to it, right? So then that becomes, Ohio State, Penn State, it's a top 10 matchup. Who cares about Iowa? Let's go for 2 weeks from now when we play Penn State. So that could change how big of a trap game Iowa actually is, depending on the outcome of that Michigan-Penn State game.
Shaw wanted to remind us that it was a 21-point win with an eye roll emoji. I mean, I'm rolling my eyes at that performance too. And I bet you, and I guarantee you this: if Ohio State only beats Iowa by 21, I will be upset. I will be critical because that's what you do with elite teams. Shaw's he doesn't know how that works yet, but that's right.
If you're only beaten by Indiana by 7 points at the start of the fourth quarter, it's not a good day. I don't care if you beat them by 30 points or 40 points by the end of the game.
That's like when Ohio State last year, who was the team out of the American that they played that literally they won by 21. They won by 3 possessions. We should be happy with that, right? No, because Ohio State has no business hanging around with Tulsa in the second half of a football game, period. So we Ohio State fans ripped Ohio State left and right for that one. So,
I mean, there's a tier to football, and to some degree, Ohio State's been left out of it before because of losses to Iowa and Purdue,
Not just losses. 30-point losses. You could lose a close game.
Did they lose this by 30 on both those games?
Yeah, it was like 29. One was 29, the other was 31. But woofa.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah. But hey, I appreciate the call, man. We got to get moving.
Yeah. All right, thanks, man.
Matt, I'm keeping notes though. You got some brownie points today. I appreciate that.
All right, man. I'm 26 now. I'll call in.
All right, take care. The top 10 listener poll will come out.
Shame.
The top 10 fan poll will come out on Friday. And, I'm not going to lie. I might be a little biased here. I might just say, hey, if you agree with Kev, you lose points.
Shame on you. Shame on you, Matt.
Top 3 then.
Can't believe, Matt. I'm so disappointed.
People pandering to Kenner. I like
That's what I'm saying.
So the criteria for this top 10, I got to come up with a better name for it, right? We've got to come up with the Kenner fan poll or the Justin Kenner show with Kev Nash.
I will not help you with this.
You don't want to be a part of it?
I will not help you with this.
The Kenner fan poll. You don't want your name attached to it?
No.
That's fine. For legal purposes, Brandon Kelty says, I'm for Kev.
Matt, goodness gracious.
No, David Shaw, I didn't get any points. I agreed with you. No, you neutralized it by saying you're both right. You're both right. You can't both be right in the debate. My goodness, it's either one side or the other.
Where's Charlie when you need him?
Oh, I met Charlie 2 years ago. Charlie came out to Submarine House. See, he's getting points. What I like about Charlie, by the way, we don't have to agree. Him and I don't agree on anything when it comes to the Bengals, but he's interactive on social media, and he comes out to remotes. He doesn't call in because now he's on the road. He has a different shift now. So he listens to us at night when he's driving thirds. So shout out to Charlie when he listens to this. He'll be, get a huge kick out of this. But 2 out of 3. When we're live out on location, we're live out on location every week. Saturday, Sunday. Not this Saturday, bye week for Ohio State. Then they got that trap game with Iowa coming next week and then the Penn State game after. But plenty of opportunities to come meet us and see us. And then every Sunday, we are at Frickers for the Sunday morning tailgate show. So you come out and see us. You interact with us on social media. You call into the show. You got to be active in 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, they're almost guaranteed if you're busy in all 3. I'm just saying. But the top 10 poll, the first top 10 listener poll comes out on Friday. Kenner's top 10 listener poll on Friday.
Don't feed into this man's ego by pandering.
Feed into it.
Do come out to the events that we are at. Do interact with us on social media. Do not pander to Kenner's ego.
And it is very biased. It's as biased as the AP and the college football playoff poll. It is as biased as that. I don't know about the SEC bias, but there is bias to those who agree with Kenner more often than not. Let's see. Nick on Facebook says, what's wrong a take where Kenner what? What's wrong a take where Kenner Nick retype that, send it in. I don't know what you're trying to say. Doug Toby says the all matters. Ron Howard says the hate list. Some guy being interacted. Some guy, he don't even have a name, and he's most likely going to be in this. And this is a guy that went off on me 2 weeks ago. Actually, him and I almost blocked him off. There's only two people. One person I've blocked. Some guy was close to being the one. Him and I are good now. I don't even know who he is. Kenner's 10. That's simple. It's easy. Kenner's 10.
Yeah, that is a good name.
You buy me beers when we're out on the weekend. You get more props for that. In fact, you get me one beer, you're automatically in the top 5 if you buy me a beer when we're out on location. It's that simple.
It is election season.
I'm Justin Kenner, and I approve this message. So there you go. Let's see. Like I said, Nick's resend that back in. We get that taken care of. It is what it is. It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Coming up next, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. We're going to hang out with him for about 10, 15-minute period. Talk about his Raiders. Talk about the Davantae Adams thing, and then we're going to talk about the Browns and the Bengals, both teams 2-3. Earlier in the week, we had the conversation about which fan base should be more concerned. I'm curious his take on that. And then the college football playoff conversation. Again, we're a couple weeks away from the very first poll coming out. Which teams, how many teams realistically are in the hunt for these 4 spots? That's what I'm curious about. We're going to talk about that with Jason Fitz on the other side. And then we'll let him settle the trap game debate. We'll be right back. Jason Fitz next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be cloudy with a chance of showers, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers, a low near 50. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy, a high near 63. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Service. It starts at our streets and in the hearts of those who heed the call. For Sharon Kennedy, it started with a police badge, risking her life to protect the lives of others. But her service didn't stop there. After putting herself through law school, Kennedy found a new way to serve our state, helping Ohio families and protecting the less fortunate as a disciplined attorney. Today, Sharon Kennedy wears a judge's robe on our state Supreme Court. But her dedication to street-level service hasn't wavered an inch. Kennedy applies the law fairly and compassionately from the bench and works with Ohio's veterans to get them the care and support they deserve. That's why Kennedy enjoys widespread support from law enforcement all across our state, including Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police and dozens of local sheriffs. Heeding the call, Sharon Kennedy for Ohio Supreme Court.
Paid for by Kennedy for Ohio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is coming to the Buckeye State. Justin Kenner with 1410 ESPN Radio. To kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today with my promo code Kenner, you'll be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and it's super easy to use. Dayton, this is your chance to get in on the action. Join today with my promo code Kenner, Kinner. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. Bonus issued in non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Ohio starting January 1st of 2023. Unique user identity verification required. Offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When I got the news, I was shocked. I was scared. I was angry. When I heard it could be treated with the right care, I was relieved. I was happy. I was given a second chance.
Urology Specialists of Ohio offers men peace of mind. 5 physicians and 5 locations. Now accepting new patients. Make an appointment with a physician that cares about your health and prevention. Urology Specialists of Ohio. Beaver Creek, Springfield, Urbana, Xenia, and London. Online at urologyspecialistsofohio.com.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, Downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
Have you heard? $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight with brand new equipment, and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, company 401k. Plus, they're now hiring recent truck driving school graduates. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy inherited properties, vacant homes, rentals, commercial properties, and apartment buildings. Give us a call today and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
The best audio entertainment this fall is on Audible. It's the home of storytelling with audiobooks, exclusive originals, popular podcasts, and more. All in one app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is coming to the Buckeye State. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today using my promo code KINNER, KINNER, you'll be all set for when FanDuel goes live here in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and super easy to use. Come on, Dayton. This is your chance to get in on the action. Join today with promo code KINNER, KINNER. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You see how much easier it is to get live reads out when you don't have listeners pissing you off and distracting me the whole time. And now I got to redo it again because when I have to cut that for the air check, I can't be cussing when I send it to the damn client. Dang client. Dang it. What is wrong with me?
I don't know.
I'm all flustered. They drive me nuts sometimes. That Shaw, all of them. 518-1410.
The lawyer Shaw.
The lawyer Shaw. Yes. Yes. Hanging out with us now as he does each and every, well, technically Tuesday, today on a Wednesday. Joining us now, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. Jason, it's been a while. How are you, sir? Welcome.
Man, I feel good. I'm just excited to troll Michigan and make some of your listeners mad. It's my weekly goal to tick people off so they call you and I don't have to deal with it. I love it.
Well, and by the way, I don't believe that you had college football live yesterday. I believe that you were either hungover or just really upset after the Monday night game. I think we and Kev had a long list of reasons other than you having to do college football live yesterday as to why you couldn't do the show, by the way.
The best part about having college football live yesterday is that I had to stick my head in a book and in scripts and work, and I couldn't rewatch any of it because let me tell you, like this year more than ever has been avoid TV at all costs the day after Raiders games 4 times. They've had the ball in their hands with a chance to win or lose the game, and they are 0-4 in those situations. Like that is just, it is stunning. It was a stunning loss and a stunning, 4 losses by a combined 14 points. Man, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's bad. Whew.
We'll get to the NFL in a moment, but because you are coming on a day later, that's a whole extra show of debates that we need help kind of sorting out to see who's right and wrong. Look, Ohio State doesn't play this weekend. They have a bye week. When they come back, they'll have Iowa. Iowa is not good. We know that. But then they have Penn State after that. Penn State is really, really good. And Ohio State, potentially, Iowa is a trap game, right? What is your definition of a trap game, Jason Fitz? And is Iowa a trap game for the Buckeyes? I believe that they are. I don't believe that they could beat Ohio State, but I believe that they are the exact definition of a trap game. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right that they're in both counts. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Coming off a bye week against Iowa, it's easy to be a trap game. The unfortunate thing for Iowa fans is that Ohio State could basically only show up for 2 drives and score enough points to win that football game. Like Iowa can't score on the local high school team. So it's ugly. And, at this point, I trust Iowa's defense to be able to make things ugly. I don't trust Iowa's offense to do literally anything. And how many years in a row are we going to see this? Like, what I don't understand is why Iowa fans continually accept this. If they even had just the tiniest level of mediocrity in their offense for the last 5-6 years, think of how much different we would view the entire program. Like, I don't understand why they accept, 8 wins, 7 wins, and getting your butts kicked by the best of the best. But Iowa accepts that every year.
I need you to settle one more debate. This involves one of your biggest fans in the world. His name is David Shaw. I think you're familiar with him here in the old 937. But he called in the other day, Jason, and he talked about Michigan's dominating win over Indiana. Just out of curiosity, would you consider a 31-10 win from a top 5 team in the country over an unranked bad Indiana team? Would you consider a 31-10 win a dominating win?
Just stop it. I mean, and the funny thing is, like, I was sitting in the room watching that game with ACC network folks. So not as everybody likes to talk about SEC. I don't care about the SEC. I was sitting there with a bunch of ACC network folks, and the analysts from the ACC network we're sitting there for the first half of that game saying, man, I'm waiting to see that explosiveness. I mean, Blake Corum is a delight. And in fairness, I think we spent all summer talking about the quarterback without ever really realizing that maybe they don't even need a quarterback right now. But I stand by this. And David, hit me up after Michigan loses by 30 to Ohio State, because that's the inevitability. Like, this weekend's test will be okay. I think Michigan's a pretty good football team. But there is no concept in my mind that has Michigan belonging in the same conversation as Alabama, Georgia, or Ohio State. There is an entire ocean between where those 3 teams sit and where Michigan sits, and it'll be exposed, and they'll be looked at as a fraud after they get their butts kicked by Ohio State.
Fitz, this is what I like to call a park your ass Saturday. Penn State at Michigan, Bama at Tennessee, Oklahoma State at TCU, NC State at Syracuse, Clemson at Florida State, Mississippi State at Kentucky, USC at Utah. The floor is yours.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Like, I'm cheap. Everybody knows I'm cheap. I went out and bought a new TV just for this weekend because I don't want to sit on campus where I have to pretend to be professional and watch all these games. I need another TV so I can keep up with all of it. I think, this is one of the more interesting weekends because we don't really have a great concept for the most part of where the middle class sits in college football, where the upper middle class, we'll say it that way, sits. Like, Syracuse has a real opportunity to jump in the way that they're viewed as a program. TCU, even coming off of, I thought a really nice win. TCU has the opportunity to change the way they're viewed as a program. This is a program-setting weekend for a bunch of teams. And frankly, the most under-talked about part of all of this, I mean, I'm not stupid enough to bet against Nick Saban, but I will tell you this. The team, and nobody knew this yesterday when I went into College Football Live. I had to bring the stat to them. The team that leads the SEC in quarterback pressures is Tennessee. The Volunteers have gotten after the quarterback statistically more than anybody else in the SEC. So a bad offensive line for Alabama behind possibly a backup quarterback, I think Alabama is susceptible. And, I do a Saturday show with A.J. McCarron. He suffered the exact same AC sprain to his shoulder that Bryce Young went through. And what was interesting to me is he told me that they had to, every week for the rest of the season, he never threw a single pass. He could only hand off at practice. And on Saturdays, they gave him 3 injections in his shoulder a couple hours before he went out to warm up. And the first pass he would throw every week was the pass you see on the sideline when they show you the cameras of the quarterbacks warming up. The first time they would know every week if he could throw the football. Now, Alabama got away with that, still won a national championship that year. They were clearly better than everybody. This year, they're not. So I think Alabama is really susceptible this weekend, and it has a little bit to do with their quarterback, a lot to do with their offensive line, and a lot to do with Tennessee and their ability at home to pull off the impossible.
Yeah, we had a discussion about Hendon Hooker yesterday. A couple of callers of ours, lamented that he's like 25 years old and everything like that. But another weapon they're getting back is their star wide receiver. Tillman's going to be back for this game. I called this in the preseason that I thought that Tennessee was going to beat Bama, mainly because I thought that Bama was going to work Texas A&M and get that revenge game over Jimbo and everything like that, and then come into this game kind of sleepwalking. But now that we see that they really don't have those explosive weapons on the outside from wide receiver, issues up front on the offensive line, and then obviously without Bryce Young, this is setting up for Tennessee to get a big victory.
Also, can we take a step back for all the NIL conversations, transfer portal conversations, and all the people sitting there yelling about how it kills college football? Like, we wouldn't have Hendon Hooker right now if it wasn't for the transfer portal.
He was terrible at Virginia Tech.
He needed a second shot. And guess what? Like, that's okay. Some kids need a second opportunity to figure out who they are. And sometimes it goes sour with the coaching staff and a system. So now all of a sudden you have Heupel and Hooker together in a way that really brings them together on the same page that works to both of their strengths. And now all of a sudden there's a real conversation about where his draft stock will be. And he has a chance to shock the world on Saturday. Like, this is why I mean, we've got to remember the good that comes from players having some impact on their own futures. And it's a perfect example of it. I think Tennessee can pull off the upset. And when that happens, man, all hell breaks loose in the rankings because Georgia hasn't looked good enough the last couple of weeks for the number one team. Ohio State's going to be number one in the country by Sunday.
Jason, quick question about I know this is a question that gets thrown out every year come college football playoff rankings time. Top 25 wins, how are those calculated? Are they calculated were they top 25 when you played them, or is it where they are at right now? Because trying to get into the debate of how to view Clemson's resume, because they have 2 top 25 wins, 2 teams that are currently in the top 25. Do they technically have a top 10 win over NC State? You almost get punished for beating a top 10 team because you bump them out of the top 10. Once the playoff rankings come out, the AP means nothing, but the very first college football playoff rankings have to use a top 25 measure for something, correct? Like, how does this work in your eyes? How should it work? Is it where you're at now, or where were they were at when they beat them?
I think it should work by where they are now because we have a better body of work on it. What the committee typically does is sort of a hybrid of that. They pick and choose what they like, as always, because the committee's the worst sometimes. There's an element there where when I've talked to the committee before, they'll come back and say, well, they faced a team that at the time was very good. So if there's been a reason that a team has fallen off, they'll excuse that reason. I think the most interesting team that we're going to find out when the college football committee comes out is Texas, y'all. Because, like, let's look at the way we saw Texas play on Saturday, and then let's look back. I mean, they have a 1-point loss to Alabama where Quinn Ewers was out for part of that game, and then they lost a game without their starting quarterback. And the committee is told to factor in who's not playing for your team. So the committee is going to come in and value Texas, I think, a lot more than we think. And then when it comes to a team like Clemson, it's going to be the body of work of the opponents and where they stand now, I think, because the ACC is still trying to figure out if it's any good. You know, it's amazing because ACC fans are coming at me saying, well, look at how many ranked teams we've had. And, okay, but how many ranked teams can you keep? And that's a much different conversation. You know, like having them and keeping them are two. You can. And congratulations on if you can have $1 million. Congratulations 10 times over if you can keep $1 million.
Yeah, and of course that's, come resume. I always say with the college football playoff, it's not about the 4 best teams. It's usually about the 4 best resumes. And there is a distinct difference in that. The 4 best teams rarely make it into the playoff. It's usually the 4 best resumes. Like, I don't care. Cincinnati fans were so mad at me last year. I'm like, the playoff is about the 4 best resumes. If it was about the 4 best teams, I don't know if the Bearcats heard it last year. That's not a shot at the Bearcats. That's just the reality of it. But Michigan not having played anyone of any kind of significance to this point, they at least have Penn State coming up this weekend, so that, they get that. So that argument will be thrown out. But right now, we're talking yesterday, like, there's so many teams I would have ranked ahead of Michigan if the college football playoff rankings came out right now. But that's what makes this one with Penn State so much bigger. Michigan versus Penn State, or, of course, the Alabama and Tennessee game this weekend. Which one is going to have a bigger thumbprint on that very first playoff ranking that comes out here in a few weeks?
Michigan, Penn State, because the thing of it is, like it or not, Alabama is going to get benefit of the doubt. They always do. And they have plenty of runway left, right? If you're Michigan, as I said, I think Ohio State is going to crush Michigan. But if Michigan drops a game anywhere else, they lose any wiggle room. And to me, I'm not saying this like I know more than everybody else, but like, this is an opinion. This is sort of fact, the way the committee works. Like, once you've lost a game, if you're Michigan, you ain't working your way back in there. If you lose a game and you're Alabama, boy, they'll find a way. If that Alabama team runs, they will find a way to say, well, look, the eye test shows, the fact is, if Alabama loses to Tennessee in a great game, then the committee's going to look at it and say, well, Bryce Young was hurt, and look at how hard that is to play at Neyland Stadium. Like, they're going to give you a million excuses. I'm not on the committee, and I'm just telling you, the committee's not going to give that same benefit of the doubt to Michigan, like it or not. So, that's just part of the process. Michigan has to go out, and they have to beat everybody, and then they're going to have to keep Ohio State close. That's their path to the playoff. It's that simple.
In the NFL, we had some roughing the passer penalties. Obviously, Tom Brady and then Derek Carr. What's your takeaway on all that?
The NFL doesn't care. I mean, look at what they did quickly with the concussion protocol. Like, once it was a bad optic, then the NFL stepped in. What we keep forgetting is that the NFL knows exactly where their bread is buttered, and that's from quarterbacks. Like, the NFL can handle every single ESPN show spending 3 days talking about roughing the passer. They can take that because we'll still watch on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But if we end up with no Tom Brady, like if the Bucs are playing the Raiders in the Super Bowl and you don't have Tom Brady or Derek Carr because somebody took a hit, that's what the NFL can't handle. Like, the ratings don't do well when we don't have big name quarterbacks. So the NFL is looking around saying, y'all keep crying all you want to, but we'll protect quarterbacks. They will err on the side of caution no matter what it takes to make sure quarterbacks stay upright and healthy. And always, like, this is one of those things where, like, you might hate that the speed limit on the road in your town goes down to 35 miles an hour for no reason. You feel like they're just trying to hit the quotas, right? But that's just what you have to deal with. That's what the NFL has done to the quarterbacks. Like, there's a weird speed limit around certain quarterbacks, and you're just going to have to deal with it. When you get the ticket, that's just the way it's going to be. Because the NFL, if they wanted to change it, would have already changed it. The fact that they haven't changed it tells you they care more about Tom Brady staying healthy than they do about what any of us think of that call.
Yeah, I've always used that analogy. Just because you find a rule stupid doesn't mean that you don't have to follow it. Like, it's always, I remember the pass interference, all those things. Like, whether we think the rule is stupid or not, the bottom line is if you violate that rule, it's a penalty. And whether it's in real life, of course, or in sports, to that degree right there. Jason, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz hanging out with us here. I'm doing this FanDuel endorsement, and I'm learning a lot about sports betting. But what is that term called for when there's no winner or loser between a bettor and the sports book?
A push?
Oh, push. Yes, a push. Tell me about your thoughts on Davantae Adams. Well played, right? I'm proud of that one.
Oh, man, you walked me right into that. Son of a biscuit. I'm going to trade for that. Here's the thing. Like, this is the way I say it with Davantae is I have no platform and nobody knows who I am. There have been times in my tiny platform in life where I've been in a situation where somebody tried to get under my skin, and I've looked over and I've seen somebody with their cell phone out. And you realize that we live in a gotcha world. When you know that we live in a gotcha world, you have to hold yourself to a different standard every second of every day. That's in normal life. Now, when you're on the field, you're walking off the field, you're around a bunch of people at that point. For anyone that's never been down on the field, not everybody can get down there, right? Like, especially at NFL games, for most of the VIP type people that are there, after the opening kickoff, you're taken off the field. So the people that are on the field are working. Now, there's a big difference to me between a streaker that's on the field and you don't know if that person is dangerous, you don't know what they have, and you take them out because they're running at everybody and it could be a danger to society. There's a huge difference between that and a guy doing his job. It's just a terrible look. It's a terrible judgment call by Davantae Adams. And the way he came out and apologized, frankly, I thought was also weak. Like, coming out and saying, I'm really sorry. He kind of popped out from no. Like, the only apology you have right there is, man, I lost my cool and I shouldn't have. And I realize that, lawyers probably help him figure out what to say so he doesn't lose as much money. But, man, it's a bad look for the Raiders. It's a bad look for Davantae. It's going to cost him a ton of money. I don't think it'll cost him a game, but it'll cost him a ton of money, and it should cost him a ton of money. That's just – I absolutely – like, if I was the guy out there carrying a camera just doing my job, even if I stepped in late, even if it was me trying to get this perfect picture, like, there's an appropriate reaction on the sideline and there are enough appropriate people to react on the sideline, you don't have to shove a guy down. Not when you're an NFL player. You should know better.
Yeah, we've been having this debate on the show. A couple do-gooders out there say the cameraman shouldn't sue Davantae Adams. What do you think?
No, I mean, that's super easy to say when you're not in that situation. I mean, you do, like, you have a bunch of rights. Like, I mean, the fact is, like, I mean, you're talking to I'm one of those guys, not that I'm like litigious as a general person, but I'm adult enough to know that if you come up to me in the street, you want to like suddenly throw down, like, the first thought I'm going to be is like, we're not middle schoolers. Like, action has consequence. If you push somebody to the ground, they hurt themselves. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to fault some guy that's probably making far less than many of the people that listen to the show right now just to be a photographer trying to make a living selling individual pictures off the sideline. Like, I'm not going to fault that guy if he wants to go hit his. Like, that's action has consequence. And, Davantae has to know that. We live in a litigious society. That's just, I can't imagine why this person wouldn't go in and exercise the fullest extent of their rights if they got shoved down. Also, that person's probably not necessarily an NFL fan, a Raiders fan, a Davantae fan. Like, none of those variables play into this. It's a guy doing his job. So if you're just out there doing your job and, if you're a construction worker and you're out there doing the job and a car nicks you but doesn't do a ton of damage, are you going to be like, well, that guy's probably just having a bad day? Like, so what? So he's famous, so he's rich, so he's an athlete. Like, and so it's a very public platform. Like, that's the world we live in. Davantae's, that's all on his shoulders.
ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz hanging out with us. Jason, we'll send you out with this. The two teams we talk about the most here in Dayton, obviously the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns are 2-3 to start, and the 3 games that they've lost, they just as well easily could have won. The Cincinnati Bengals are obviously in the same boat. The Browns are without their starting quarterback in Deshaun Watson, obviously, so there's light at the end of the tunnel that, hey, improvement, there's at least something coming soon that can maybe fix or alleviate some of these problems. The Bengals, they have key pieces out here and there, but they have all that explosiveness back from that AFC, title team from last year, the Super Bowl team from last year. They're also 2-3. We threw out the question on Monday. Browns fans, Bengals fans, both fan bases of 2 and 3 teams who are kind of in between right now, 5 games in. Which fan base should be more concerned about what's ahead for both teams?
Bengals fans. It's not even close. And look, I mean, Browns fans, I'm angry with you because you gave away a game against the Chargers. I really needed you to win.
It. Yes, I was in Cleveland for my first game. I was so excited. I thought he made that kick. I thought I watched the Browns win on a game winner on my first Cleveland game in Cleveland. Nope, Browns is the Browns.
I sat there and I thought, man, this is the sort of dumb stuff that's going to get Staley fired right now. I love this. Let's just blow the no. All of a sudden, the Browns. Like, but you make a good point about the quarterback situation. Also, the Browns have played pretty good football throughout the course of this season. The Bengals have not, and Leo Collins has been a bust of a signing. Like, it's just wasted money, and I don't know what's going to make that right. So now all of a sudden you've tried everything to get your offensive line right, and it hasn't worked. And also defensive coordinators have had all year to sit around and say, how do we slow down tempo offenses that are trying to get rid of the ball quickly when they have bad offensive line play? Every team in the league has been looking at it, and it's why we're seeing the Rams struggle. It's why we're seeing the Bengals struggle. Like, there's just a moment of, if your offensive line can't hold the blocks long enough, everybody has figured out how to disguise defenses better, and they've figured out how to defend it smarter. So it feels like teams have caught up quickly, and now the Bengals have to adjust. And I think the Bengals at this point, are to me one of the more disappointing teams in the league, because they have too much talent and they have that guy. Like, when you have that quarterback, there's just an expectation you're going to be able to win every game. But my God, you're asking him to be Superman every single week. And to the credit of Joe Burrow, I was asked on Monday Night Football on our digital show, I was asked the 5 quarterbacks that I'm the most scared of in the NFL week in and week out. And I put Joe Burrow at number 5 on that list, because you can throw anything at his face, you can do anything to him, and he still can find a way to beat you. And I think the Bengals are wasting that right now. They're making his life so difficult every single day. We talked about it last year. They did the same thing early in the season, but man, I don't love the play calling. I don't love the personnel that they brought in. Like, I'm disappointed in the Bengals this year.
Keep hearing people say Zach Taylor needs to give up the play calling duties. I keep saying, well, if he gives up play calling duties, you may as well fire him. I don't know the purpose of having an offensive minded head coach who can't run an offense. If that's the case, I don't think that's the solution. Firing him is the only thing that makes sense if it's that big of a deal, which obviously it is to some.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And it's, when you get a head coaching job because of your level of expertise in a certain field, you better have a great team in that field. Otherwise, everything is suspect. I think that's fair.
All right, ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. Jason, thank you so much, and thank you for walking into the push line. I appreciate that, and we'll talk next week.
Yeah. Don't push my button.
All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number you can call and jump in with Jason off the phone. We can get back to your reaction on everything we're talking about now. William Sloniker on YouTube says, come on, Kev. Everyone knows Iowa is a trap game. They are every year. I don't give a damn how much their offense sucks. Trap game. Look at William moving on up the Kinner top 10 rankings. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Shame on both of you.
We'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
The Ohio Education Association congratulates Amanda Goslin, a middle school teacher in Green Local Schools, this week's Education Champion.
Good for you for having a lot of nerve to run. After 22 years of teaching, I've learned patience, compassion. I've learned that every student learns differently, and it's been a challenge for me, but fun and rewarding to learn how to work with each group. Every year, it's a new group. Things are different. My classroom's different, but we're always a family.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Browse the largest display of hot tubs and swim spas in the region from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. That's this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton. Visit HotTubOH.com or call 800-SPA-SALE.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
Are you ready for a mealtime favorite made famous? Then stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and order up a chicken pot pie combo for only $6.49. You'll get chunks of savory premium chicken, carrots, peas, and potatoes in a creamy sauce, all baked in a flaky pastry crust and served with a regular drink. This is comfort food at its finest. Get the meal that's oven fresh and wallet friendly with the chicken pot pie combo. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. For a limited time, we have 22 Honda Passports and 22 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9%, and 2022 Honda Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%. Remember, we can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build new.
Then, download the Bengals app or go to betfredsports.com and have a chance to win Bengals tickets and exclusive merchandise. Official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Wendy's new French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me. Did you just say Wendy's new French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
It's time for Frickin' Football. Frickers has a way to make this the winning season. Try a Frickin' Chicken Taco, Grilled Chicken Taco, or Mississippi Barbecue Taco for a limited time. Enjoy a 48-ounce personal pitcher of domestic draft beer.
I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
All the games of college and the NFL at the place that leads the way with inflation-busting prices, everyday values, and where kids eat free. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Big thanks to ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz, who we just got done hanging out with for his weekly stop on the show. Always look forward to that. Kev, the one thing he said that caught my attention more than anything else, of course, was when we asked him his thoughts on the bigger matchup this weekend in college football, whether it was Alabama and Tennessee or Michigan and Penn State. I thought that was a low-hanging fruit question to say Tennessee and Alabama, but he said, no, Michigan and Penn State, because basically, and he's right, I didn't think of it like this, that's an elimination game. Whoever loses against Tennessee or Alabama, that's not necessarily an elimination game, because Penn State, I mean, you're assuming that Penn State could beat Ohio State or that Michigan beats Ohio State, and you could just tell that's not happening this year, right? Like, there's no deficiencies in Ohio State's game this year, and I'm not saying that it can't happen. Let's be clear. But at the end of the day, it does come down to, I see what he's saying. This is, in essence, an elimination game. The loser of Penn State, Michigan is out of the playoff conversation. The loser of Tennessee, Alabama, not out of the playoff conversation, assuming Tennessee, Alabama is a close one. I think it's a one-possession line heading into this Saturday's big-time matchup between the two. But your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know if that's an elimination game this week between Penn State and Michigan, because they both, whoever loses that game still has the carrot out there of playing Ohio State, who could potentially be the number one ranked team out there. So if they have one loss and they beat Ohio State, what does that do for their resume going forward? I mean, if you beat the number one team, that means you're a pretty good football team. So I think it still has that carrot out there. So I don't think it's an elimination game quite yet.
So he said he believes Ohio State could be the number. I see what you're doing, Jesse. I see what you're doing. Jesse has never liked the social media feed. I see what's happening. I'm paying attention. I'm seeing what's happening. Keep in mind, Kinner's top 10 listener poll comes out on Friday. The three tiers that you have to be involved. You have to be involved in two of the three. All right, you have to listen. You have to interact on social media throughout the day and into the live stream. You have to call in and be heard on the show. 518-1410, by the way. And you have to attend live shows, when we're at Frickers and we're at Submarine House and the show's on the road. You need to be supporting us while we're out on the road. So you got to at least be doing 2 of those 3 things regularly to be eligible to be in Kinner's top 10, which comes out on Friday. All right. And Jesse, Mr. Jesse. He is
you
now,
too, Jesse.
Jesse's
you too.
pandering too. I like it. I like it. I'm really stuck as far as, who's the number one. But anyways, ADD moment right there. Back to what, see my ADD, it's wearing off. It's 5:06 here. My day's almost over. But you don't think it's an elimination game?
No.
It's an elimination game because for you to say it's not an elimination game, you're saying there's a chance that they could beat Ohio State. There's a chance Penn State or Michigan could beat Ohio State in your eyes.
Yes. There's a ton of reasons. I mean, we can't sit here and act like Michigan doesn't have a good defense. I don't think this defense is as good as it was last year, but they still do have a good defense. Penn State, I'm still a little wish-washy on, but for them, they still have that carrot out there to say, okay, we lost this game, and that's kind of like why I want the winner of that game to only win by a touchdown or 3 points or whatever. I want it to be a real good game because you still will get that competitiveness out of those teams. If they get blown out here, then, oh, man, now we got to play Ohio State, and then they get blown out, then we get nothing as fans. So I'm really rooting for a close game between both teams, a good close game between both teams because it still has that carrot out there for them to continue to try to win these games and create that good matchup between Ohio State. Michigan, I believe they could beat Ohio State. Penn State, I would put their percentage chances of beating Ohio State, like 20% chance of beating Ohio State. Michigan's percentage of chances of beating Ohio State, probably about 35%.
Yeah, and look, those are those 2 games are Ohio State's biggest chances to lose, if that makes sense. But those are also the 2 big games that Ohio State that they're going to check off those resume wins.
Yes,
coming up around the corner. Now Jesse says, I didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. You liked it. I saw your name pop up. Said Jesse liked the show, so I appreciate that, Jesse. See, you're doing something. You don't even know you're doing something. I'm like, how about Justin Smith? It has been a while. He goes, I've been in Facebook jail for the last 30 days. Good to be back.
What'd you do?
Yeah, what'd you do, Justin? What'd you do? What talking politics, I bet. You either said some really inappropriate words or you were talking politics. Those are really the only 2 ways to get kicked off Facebook, right?
Is it? I've never been
assuming.
in Facebook jail, even though I'm not on Facebook.
You said you wouldn't believe me if I told you. It's probably best if I don't hear what you did, to be honest.
Slide in my DMs. Let me know.
More power to you. More power to you. But so Jay Morrison, who's been on the show before, he covers the Cincinnati Bengals for The Athletic. He does a cool podcast along with Paul Dehner Jr. Both of those guys do a fantastic job covering the Cincinnati Bengals. They have a podcast out, and within the podcast, they were talking about the struggles of the Bengals early on. We're transitioning to the NFL quick here. With all the struggles of the Bengals, and it's really hard to pinpoint why these struggles are happening because this is a team that got better. Joe Burrow has been protected way better than what he has the first 2. I mean, like you get sacked, 7 times in that first game?
Yeah.
So his sack totals are going to be, you know what I mean? I just think that it's going to be easy to use that against him when talking about, how bad the O-line is. The O-line has been significantly better since that Dallas Cowboys game when he got sacked like another 5 times or whatever it was. But he hasn't been sacked more than 4 times since. So that's a good thing for Joe Burrow. But it's also that concerns me because the thing for Bengals fans coming into the season was the only thing we got to do to win it all is to protect Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the Bengals are protecting Joe Burrow. I know the sack totals. I think he's top 5. He's one of the top 5 most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. A lot of that is, I just think it's inflated because of that first 2-game stretch. They've done a fantastic job the last 3 games of protecting him, and they're 2-1 in their last 3 games since, they've started protecting him. But the
tied for 4th with 18.
14.
Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford, number 1 with 21. Carson Wentz at 3 with 20 sacks.
So with that being said, and he's been protected. I mean, take the Cowboys and the Steelers game out. This offensive line has done a fantastic job protecting him. But that's the thing that would concern me most if I'm a Bengals fan. A year ago, you were just protection of Joe Burrow away from winning it all. Now you're protecting Joe Burrow, and you can't seem to click offensively. They are not in the top 10 in any major statistical category. Joe Burrow, I think, is in the top 10 in touchdowns, and that's about it. But yards per game, yards per attempt, completion percentage, total offense, points per game, they range anywhere between 13th and 19th in the NFL. I went through the numbers the other day. And that's what's most concerning, Kev, because there's really not an excuse. Play calling's not helping, but the players aren't helping themselves either. Lyle Collins, your thoughts on Jason Fitz saying that was a bust of a pick, by the way. I know we have a call coming in, so we'll get that call quick. But Lyle Collins has not been good.
Average at best.
Oh, we'll get to you in a second. Sorry. Average at best. We'll talk about that in a moment. But so this podcast, I want you guys to take a listen. Jay Morrison and Paul Dehner Jr. had an interesting conversation about Jamar Chase being the issue, Kev. Not Jamar Chase being the issue as in he's the issue, but his presence on the field being an issue for Joe Burrow, who, when things break down, panics and focuses on him. Hear why Paul Dehner Jr. and Jay Morrison have compared the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection to the Andy Dalton and A.J. Green connection. Take a listen.
It's getting into that old force the ball into A.J. Green thing that we saw when it was Andy Dalton here, and now it's Joe Burrow just relying too much on Jamar Chase on those third downs.
We talked about this the moment that Burrow said, I need to get the ball to Chase more after that game. It was the first thought that came into my mind was, no, you don't. Do not do that. That is what will kill this offense. The ability to spread it around and utilize everybody and not become predictable. We're all yelling about predictability, right? I mean, don't shove the ball into Jamar Chase whenever you're in a big moment.
And that's basically what we've seen. And a lot of times, you talked about being predictable. Play calling could become predictable, Kev. I get that. But Joe Burrow is becoming predictable. And I remember a year ago, and this didn't happen. I'm not doing this whole I told you so thing because I was wrong because they got to the Super Bowl last year. So I was wrong. So I'm not doing any I told you so thing here. But a year ago, I used the example of, I remember when OBJ got to Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, who, by the way, Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield, there's no comparisons there at all. I'm just using this as an example of a quarterback who got so dependent on one wide receiver who showed signs of being really, really good when he spread the ball. Remember that rookie year of Baker, Kev? There was no number one wide receiver. Right. It was Jarvis. It was Higgins. It was everybody. He was anyone that was open was getting that football. And then Baker looked like the real deal, right? Like Cleveland fans just erupted because, holy crap, we got our quarterback. Then they go get OBJ. And then Baker became so OBJ dependent when the plays would break down that, he was just basically handing it to the opposing team because everyone in that stadium knew exactly who he was pushing for. I'm not comparing Joe Burrow to Baker Mayfield. I'm just using that as an example of issues with an offense of a team that I follow in the Cleveland Browns from years ago. I'm not saying this is exactly the same, but a lot of the same principles exist. I do believe that Joe Burrow's biggest issue is that when guys aren't open, whether it is through bad play calling or whatever you want to put it on, Joe Burrow's not making the easy decisions either. I think Joe Burrow's doing a lot to forcing the ball to Jamar Chase, which at times he's not open. He's overthrowing him. He's underthrowing him. He's just not open, Kev. And at times it's like the offense, he panics and he zeroes in on Jamar Chase. And that's been one of the biggest issues with the offense as well. I know the play calling has been suspect. I get that. But when the play calling breaks down, it broke down last year. And Joe Burrow, what made him great is he moved the ball all over the field. Now he's not moving the ball over the field. He's focused on one guy and one guy only. That is one of the biggest issues as well. Jamar Chase has almost become a crutch as opposed to a weapon that they can use. He's been neutralized. Jamar Chase is not top 5 in any statistical category out there right now. I know there was a lot of expectations for him in year 2 in the NFL, and he just does not look like that same dangerous weapon from a season ago.
Yeah,
defenses for that. I get that. But
I'll give you another comparison. It reminds me, and my brother were actually talking about this, Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss.
Yes.
That's what it really reminds me of. There's so many clips of Dante Culpepper scrambling and running around just saying, forget it. Randy's down there somewhere, and Randy Moss will make some amazing play on the football and everything like that. But the difference between Randy Moss and Jamar Chase, Randy Moss is 6'5". Jamar Chase is 6'1". Both great players. But, yeah, players have tendencies, and that's why they have scouting reports. Like, it's fine that you can run the plays as scripted, but guess what? 9 times out of 10, they don't go as scripted because the other defense is trying to take those things away. So what are you going to do? They know when we take this away, his tendency is to roll out to the right. So be ready for that. So don't crash down on the defensive end. kind of hold your ground, because if we get pressure from this side, he'll come right to you. So it's like a ton of scouting, and it's a ton that goes in. That's what we talked about last week. These defensive coordinators, look, man, they get paid a lot of money just like the offensive guys. And don't think for 1 second that these defensive gurus aren't trying to stop these offenses just as much as these offenses are trying to score on these defenses, even though it's much harder to play defense than it is offense. You know, they're running a ton of things at the Cincinnati Bengals. You're not going to see man-to-man on the Cincinnati Bengals all season. They'll run some variation of man. Like they'll say, like, all right, you shadow him, but we're going to keep a man under, or we're going to keep a safety over top. You know, that interception that Patrick Queen got on him, they bluffed the blitz. Hey, he thought it was coming on the blitz, and he went right into that zone, and it tricked him. And that's what good defenses do. They come up with designs to trick the quarterback. And that's what Joe Burrow is dealing with right now. It's definitely a learning process for him. And it's also a learning process for Jamar Chase. Let's not forget, he's in his second year. So he has an adjustment to make. What do they talk about? Super Bowl hangover. Look at the 2 Super Bowl teams.
Yeah.
Look at them. And then what do they talk about? The sophomore slump. Like all these things, these aren't made up terms. These aren't things that just people just say, oh, yeah, you're about to have a sophomore slump. Oh, you went to the Super Bowl, you're not going to play as good as you did the year before. These aren't made up. They have a ton of facts that go along with it. So that's what the Cincinnati Bengals are dealing with right now.
Yeah, right now, 5 games into the season, Jamar Chase has 32 receptions for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase has, that is insane to me. Technically 3, but his
4.
coach, 4. Yeah. The one I'm thinking about is against your team, the Steelers, in that week 1. But, you know, he's been targeted 53 times. Folks, T. Higgins only been targeted 28 times. Tyler Boyd's only been targeted 23 times. Hayden Hurst has been targeted the same amount of times as T. Higgins. And
he's balling, though.
No, I get that, but like, going to the tight end, it shows a big, it shows a shift in Joe Burrow's view of the field then, because last year there wasn't a legitimate tight end threat. And I know he wasn't terrible, but it was all about Boyd. It was all about T. Higgins and Jamar, and T was out last week. And I know he left the game early against Miami, which, by the way, how did he get all the talk about concussions? How did he get concussions in back-to-back weeks? And they never really had anyone question how they handled him. Is it just,
he balled out against Miami? He had a concussion the game before, came back on that Thursday, balled out, and then
got popped again
versus the Ravens, and they were like,
you out. So, yeah, but nonetheless, 518-1410. By the way, let me go back to this real quick. Jeff McPherson on Facebook says, okay, my work shift changed, so I can't listen as much and call and post, but top 10 for sure. Remember the rap I freestyled for you guys about Joe Burrow and his knee a year ago? Do you remember this?
I don't.
Did someone rap about his knee?
I don't remember this. Let's hear those bars.
Yeah, Jeff. If you know what, Jeff, I tell you what, if you call in and redo that rap, you're in the top 10. I don't know where in the top 10, but you are officially in the top 10 if you call back in with this rap. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm sure you did.
Or post a video on your Facebook page and we'll share it on ours.
Fair. I'm really curious about this as well. I'm just curious. So, you know, it is what it is. 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Kev, who is leading off?
We got Brad and Salina on line 1.
Brad and Salina on line 1. Brad, welcome.
Hey, it's actually Brian. How you doing?
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Oh, no. I know who this is. I know who. Brian, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I heard this top 10 Kenner list. I'm like, well, I post on Facebook, ready to start calling in.
So now guess what? You're in the running because you've officially checked off 2 of the 3. I know it's hard to come to remote. You're from Salina, obviously. All right. I'm curious what you got to say, though. As you guys know,
I'm a huge Bengals fan, and it's very frustrating to see that dominant play calling towards Jamar Chase when everybody in the stadium knows. I think, get that running game going. We're starting to see that with the offensive line we put together. That's going to take time to kind of gel. Week 1 and 2, you go against the top defensive player from last year in the set number 2 in the defensive voting. That's a hard task for anybody, let alone an offensive line you put together. And then the more we get that tight end involved, the more we get that running game going. And I want to see Tyler Boyd start getting those slants going. That's going to soften up that pressure over top. You're going to start seeing Jamar Chase become open because they're not keen on them. We want to go for the home run every time. Home runs are nice, but you don't win games with those home runs. You win games by doing the little things like running those slants, getting the tight end going, getting that running game. That's going to open up what you really want to do. So Taylor, calm down on all the flashy stuff. Just play football. I'm a Bengals fan. I'm begging you. Just go with what got you there. We're not seeing that so far. We're seeing how that's hurting us. So I'm just asking, get the tight end involved, get Joe Mixon, stay true to that. Stay true to get Boyd going a lot more in that slant. And you're going to see those home runs starting to hit a lot better.
Brian, real quick, I know a lot of blame is going on Zach Taylor, but a lot of his offense, it really kind of flourishes when the run game opens everything else up. Is it the fact that the play calling is bad, which it is? I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt because I've never been a big Zach Taylor guy anyways, but having no run game has really kind of stifled them offensively. They haven't really been able to get in a flow offensively because they literally have no run game. Joe Mixon has shown little bursts here and there, but he's yet to have a 100-yard rushing night. Him not getting the run game going kind of slows down the offense. They're not able to get these big plays open as much as what they did in years past. I think that plays a big role in this too. And I don't know if it's the offensive line who's protecting Joe Burrow now, but is it at the expense of the run game with Joe Mixon? That's going to be the big key.
Right.
Joe Mixon has to get going more than Joe Burrow at this point.
With Joe Mixon, I think it's a mess with that offensive line. You know, when those offensive linemen, they really like pass blocking because they can kind of sit back and just catch that run line. The run blocking, you know, they got to work a little harder. So it's kind of getting that up. And then, you know, it's an honest conversation we have to have as Bengals fans. Running back shelf life isn't that great. You know, Joe Mixon gave us some wonderful years, but are we seeing the beginning of the end with him? And that's just something to think about. God, I hope not. But that's you know, trying to be a realistic Bengals fan. That's something you have to think about.
Wait, what's a realistic? What the hell is that? Huh.
We do exist.
They do exist. It's like that M&M's commercial coming up. You'll see with Christmas coming up. When they see Santa, like, he does exist. There you go.
I just found my Halloween costume. Thanks, Justin.
There you go. They do exist. Hey, Brian, good hearing from you, man. Thanks.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Man, people are really taking this top 10 list. I gotta put a lot of work into this. I can't just throw it together. I mean, people are taking this serious. I gotta take it serious. Ron Howard, the middle finger emoji. What the hell?
Wow.
Ron, that ain't gonna get you any points.
There you go, Ron.
You and Shaw have a certain ranking system, all of your own, that I'm gonna be building for you two. What the heck's the middle finger for? Gary Toole says, love this collar. It's my guy Brian. Played basketball with him, but right, he's a freaking tank. I couldn't stand when he'd set screens because even just coming off him just a little bit, knocked the wind out of me. Go on, Davantae Adams on me. Just shove me down every damn time. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. But listening to Jay Morrison and Paul Dehner Jr.'s conversation on their podcast, both cover the Bengals for The Athletic, of course, do a great job. Just kind of talking about some of the things that they're seeing issue-wise. While we're talking about play calling, we're talking about lack of production from the run game. The other issue at hand is Joe Burrow locking in on Jamar Chase a little too much because that's what worked last year, and that's not working this year. And whether it's open or not, you feel like Joe Burrow's pressing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 15, he's been targeted 15 more times than anyone else. That shouldn't happen on a team with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. He should be the featured receiver that you're targeting most, but 13, 14 times more than the others? I think that's a little too much. Tyler Boyd has had one game over 100 yards, and he hasn't been over 40 for the rest of them, so that's a problem too.
Yeah, he's the go-to guy that I will be trying to get more involved. Obviously, T. Higgins missed a game and a half this season, so that's kind of why his numbers are down. Not sure why Tyler Boyd's numbers are down outside of forcing the ball to Jamar Chase a ton. So he's the guy that you want to get involved because he's the tough guy. He's the veteran of the group. He's the guy willing to make those tough catches across the middle. So they really got to figure that out. And they really got to start trying to, you know, motion, put him all over the field. I know they did that a little bit as the season progressed last year, kind of a la Deebo Samuels with Jamar Chase. But, you know, line him up in the backfield, get him a mismatch on a linebacker, line him up in the slot. You know, you got to do what you got to do to give him the ball.
David, you are up, sir. How are you?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You're on live, man. What you got for us?
Let me get off this headset. I was expecting to be on hold. Well, you touch, and I listen to you just about every day. And let me ask you this, Justin. How do I know beforehand if your show is not airing that day?
It's a mystery. How about this? I could do a better job at letting people know on social media if we're going to be off on that day. Is that fair?
That's fair.
That's fair.
I love listening. And sometimes I turn and it's the network, and it's like, man, I wish I'd have known. First of all,
I just like to do that to people so they realize how much I mean to them. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you what, you all have humbled me. I listen to you a lot, and I think maybe I could do that. then the more I listen to you, some of the stats and conversations and information that y'all have is like, no, these guys live sports. And I'm not near that level. But anyway, you touched something with me, and I was screaming about this the other night when the Bengals were playing, is that whole Joe Burrows, and he's the truth, and he's got a long future in the NFL. I think he has an issue with maturity, and what really hit a note with me when you said he focuses too much on Chase. Like I told the guys the other night, like I told them all last year, okay, you have to remember these other Boyd and Higgins, they were there when Chase got there. Winning cures everything, but in the back of these guys' minds, all of a sudden, they're taking second place to this new rookie. But winning cures everything. You ended up in the Super Bowl. But right now, you aren't winning as much as you were last year at the height of the season. Time focuses too much trying to feed that ball to Chase. And if I'm Higgins and Boyd, you know what? Especially if I'm playing for a contract, which is based on the number of catches, you're giving all the money. You're feeding Chase while the rest of us are going hungry. That's going to cause a problem.
You're bringing up something that I don't think is an issue yet, but I think what your point is it may not be an issue yet, but when everyone's winning, people overlook that. But if you're going to constantly focus on Chase and not focus on the others, and now you're losing, now some of that could spread in. I don't know if that'll happen, but you are very right that is something, a door that could be open to that potentially happening, especially if more losses start to pile up. That's something I don't think people have thought about yet, but that definitely could be the possibility. There's so many weapons to get that one football, and Burrow did a great job last year of making it work, but it is tough to do. That's what made Burrow last year, what he did, so dang special. And so, because it's hard to do, it's hard to get 3-4 guys with the run game so involved in an offense, and he did it perfectly last year.
Well, Justin, I know Kevin remembers this. He's got a better memory than you do. I think the first series.
What's your name again?
The first series in the Super Bowl, Burrows tried to feed Chase, and it was, I think they might have attempted on the fourth down.
Yeah, it was a fourth down.
But anyway, and Higgins or Boyd was wide open on the other side of the field.
In the flat.
You remember that? Remember that, Kevin?
Yep.
It was wide open. Wide open. And see, talking about your memory, Justin, remember, I think I may end up owing you that house painting by CertaPro, because it looks like your boy Brady's going to be around a couple of more years. You don't remember that conversation, do you?
Yeah.
Brady ain't going nowhere.
No, I don't. You got me on this one. No.
I promise you, it's been a year and a half ago. Brady's first year in Tampa, you said something about 3 more years, and the deal was, if Brady's there 2 more years, I will pay CertaPro to paint your house.
Wow.
Are you offering to pay CertaPro to paint my house? Because we have a kitchen that can use some work.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Justin? That check is already in the mail.
Oh, nice.
As soon as you cash that when I see the next one for the kitchen.
All right. Sounds like a plan. 717 East David Road, by the way.
And before I forget, I haven't talked to you since the congratulations. I knew you were getting married, and the next thing I heard, you were a newlywed. So congratulations.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And like Joe Burrow, I got that ring, baby. I got that ring. There you go.
Oh, he just had
David, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, guys.
518-1410. You put a top 10 list out there now, everyone coming out of the woodwork.
Coming out the woodwork. Got a quick question for you.
Till the horses come home.
Can you guess who is number 1 in passer rating in the NFL? This player is also number 4 in QBR in the NFL.
Hurts?
No.
Goff?
No. One more guess.
Joe Burrow?
No.
Oh, geez. Lamar Jackson?
Geno Smith.
Oh, Geno.
So for all the people out there that said let Russ cook, hand raised, this is not good. This is not good.
Or that shows stats don't mean anything. But no, you are right. Yes.
Like I don't know what they did. Geno is in like year 12, but he looks like he's back at West Virginia, man. He's throwing the ball all over the place, not fumbling all over the place. He's playing some good football.
Brad said Tua. No, where's Tua on that list?
Oh, ask me too quick. I'll dig it up. Give me a second.
Yeah, William wants to know, are the Browns in my top 10 this week? That's a topic I keep pushing on. But no, the Browns are not in my top 10. They lost the game they should have won. They're my top 3. What does it take to be number 1? That's all you got to do. You got to almost win games. That's how you move up in my rankings. The Bengals are number 1 in that too. No, the Browns are not in my top 10. We haven't given our top 10 yet, have we?
We have not.
All right. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get it. Let's see. He goes, I was being serious for once. Oh, I can't tell with you people at the time. 518-1410. Kev, who's up next?
We got Bob in Riverside.
Oh, Bobby. It's been a while.
What's up?
How are you?
It's been a while. You know what, man? I just lay back in the woods. listening to you, man. Listening to you. You know, I'm like Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow. I just say, relax, man. It's only 5 games in. Now we need to start kicking it in, but it's only 5 games in, man. And that's what I do too. But I do want to say this. Your coach, our coach, and that Chargers coach all should give up play calling. They're all terrible at it. And remember, I know you said that if you're an offensive coach, you should be able to do both. Look at Nick Sirianni with Philadelphia. What did he do? Didn't he start calling plays? And he said, you know what? I suck at this. I'm going to give it to somebody else and just be a head coach. They're 5-0. So that works. I like Zach as a head coach. I think he's very good at communicating with this generation of players, keeping everybody together. As a play caller, Zach is terrible. We went to the Super Bowl last year in spite of his awful play calling. Remember, what did you say every week, Justin? Why can't this team score 30 points a game? Why are they just a second half team? Because Zach sucks. His play calling stinks. Case in point, first down, first and goal at the 2. Your running game is averaging 6, is finally clicking, popping. You're averaging 6 yards per. What do? We're going to try some Philly specials. We're going to throw 2 passes and 2 gadget plays. At the 2-yard line, Kevin, Justin, where's everybody at? Aren't they all in the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of that's stupid? And to show you that they knew that was stupid, what did they do the next time they got the ball? Ran it in with Burrow. It's that kind of nonsense that happens with Zach Taylor continuously. And for him to say something stupid like, well, you know what? It's not just me. I got a whole bunch of people in my headset. Well,
yeah, that's a bad look.
That's the stupidest comment. What kind of dumb comment is that?
I actually appreciated it because what he's saying is, hey, if y'all think I'm bad, I have a whole line of people bad behind me.
Bad look. Bad look.
I appreciated that sense of covering my own ass in that comment, to be honest.
That was awful. That was awful. And then watching your game, and the Charger guy continues to do the stupidest stuff. And what's the matter with that guy? You got a great quarterback like
What's Herbert? A flyer? Always a flyer.
That guy he is, isn't he? Oh my God. I forgot about that. I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have brought that up. Hey, let's strike that. Take that off the tape. But I will say this. He is locking in on Chase. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of Dalton and Green. But there's a lot of quarterbacks that do that. Aaron Rodgers threw to Adams
Davantae,
every time.
He would love to have Davantae to only focus in on right about now, right? Like,
True that.
Yeah. Everybody does that. But I'm not worried about it. I think the line's playing much better. And you can't. I know Jason came on and said, well, you know, that line. The line was garbage the first 2 games. They gave up 13 sacks. They given up 5 in the last 3 games.
Yep.
And he didn't even get hit really that much in the Baltimore game. So that's not even an excuse. But they're playing. The bottom line is everybody and their mother knew you were going to take Chase away this year. I mean, that's what they do in the NFL. They've been preparing for the Bengals all year. So they're playing double high safety. You don't know how to beat that, Zach. You don't know what to do with that. And then what? Now I hear Burrow. One thing I can appreciate that he does. He does cover Zach's behind way too much. Well, you know what? Yeah, those calls, we had those looks. Yo, you had a shovel pass and a Philly special at the 1. Oh, those were good looks. That's stupid. But I understand he's trying to, have the back of his coach and all that kind of garbage. But it's the play calling. It's the play calling, man. It's the play. It's terrible. Goodness. Zach's terrible. And but again, as a head coach, I like him. as an offensive coordinator, do what Sirianni did. Be humble and pass it, man. Pass it along. Be humble, man. Kendrick Lamar.
I was just going to say.
Kendrick call him.
K-Dot.
Kendrick call him. Be humble. Right,
Bob, I always love hearing from you, man. Thank you.
All right, brothers. Take it easy.
Later.
518-1410. 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. The hate on Stefanski. Look, I'm not defending him, but like, we're going to rip, the Chargers with Staley. Their offense is struggling. The Bengals offense is struggling. The Browns offense ain't struggling. The Browns offense should not be top 5 in the league, and they are. From total yards, from the top rushing team in football, they're 6th in points per game. I mean, they average more points per game than the Chargers, than a lot of explosive teams in football right now. I'm not there to look. I think right now what they've done, considering they don't have a legitimate starting quarterback, and Jacoby Brissett's been very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that they're able to be top 5 in scoring with a run first, they're the only team top 5 in scoring with a run first offense. Everyone else has elite quarterbacks. That's or a team that's making plays in the air. I'm not saying Stefanski's great. His play calling is questionable at times, but I'm fine with Stefanski. I think when Stefanski gets Deshaun Watson, that's when I'll be able to really tell. Right now, you could judge Staley because he has Justin Herbert, obviously Zach Taylor with Joe Burrow, but Stefanski having a top 5 offense in the league with Jacoby Brissett, I'm sorry. I think that he needs a little bit more respect than what's been coming his way. That's all. We'll see. You want that top 10?
Sure, let's
top
do
10? Yeah, people are asking for that top 10, and they ask and they shall receive. 518-1410. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be cloudy with a chance of showers, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers, a low near 50. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy, a high near 63. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com. Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 15 Arts locations. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for 2 to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve. But passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-590-7741. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-590-7741. That's 800-590-7741. Again, 800-590-7741.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
The Western Ohio Homebuilders Association invites you to the Fall Parade of Homes, Saturday and Sunday, October 15th and 16th, from noon to 4 p.m. each day. Presented by Minster Bank, this free event will feature 10 beautifully designed homes for you to tour in Miami, Shelby, and Darke County. Visit our website to see 5 additional virtual home tours. Whether you're in the market to build your dream home or remodel the home you already love, you are sure to find it at the Fall Parade of Homes. Visit us at poh.westernohiohba.com.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 15 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk to facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Make sure your home's heating and cooling system is in shape for the season with the experts and community trusted service that you can rely on. From William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning, we're offering exclusive savings opportunities on the new Lennox system. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today or visit us online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building fast and easy. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
You need to hire? Indeed is with you every step of the way, helping you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit. With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
(518-1410). 518-1410. We have about 10 minutes of the show left, hanging out with all of you here on a Wednesday. Live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Make sure you're involved in the conversation over there. We will release the very first Kinner's Top 10 listener poll on Friday. And I say we. Kev's like, hey. I said the Justin Kidder show with Kev Nash, but he said no, he didn't want to be. He's like, So now y'all need to kiss the ring. So I'm keeping track. How interactive are all the listeners? They're calling in. They're interacting on Facebook. They're coming out. There's 3 different ways to be a part of the show and to be a part of the station. You come out to remotes. You come out to shows where we're live on location. We're at Submarine House on Ohio State game days. We're at Frickers every Sunday morning in Miamisburg, by the Dayton Mall, of course, getting set for that day's worth of NFL games. High school football Friday nights. You can't really come out to them. You can come up and say hello, of course. But live on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Like the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Interact in the comments section, whether it's throughout the day on articles or when we're live here, or call into the show, 518-1410. Be involved in 2 or 3 of those. That's how you be in the running to crack the top 10 that comes out on Friday. My big thing is this. Steve from Springboro, is he eliminated? Because he doesn't call anymore. I know he's working, dude. But he doesn't have social media. He has a flip phone. I don't know. I
The
feel
new
like
flip phone, like Hooper, or the old school flip phone?
the old school flip phone. He retired, and then he has a post-retirement job. He's a hard worker. He didn't retire and just kick his feet up, dude. He's out working again. That's what he does. I respect that. So he came out, but he does come out to many, many shows.
Sunday morning sports show.
Yeah,
for sure.
so
Down there at Frickers. I saw on week 1.
He's in the run. Yeah, he's in the running. He's in the running.
He speaks to me even though I'm a Steelers fan.
You're the only one.
I mean, he doesn't speak a
He
lot.
makes me so nervous when I see people, innocent families, walk in with their kids in Ravens gear or your Bengals gear. I'm like, just leave them alone. They're fine. They ain't bothering you.
You ain't let him talk. You ain't let him talk on the mic.
That.
Week 1, he had a joke that he wanted to tell week 1.
Oh, I could not do. There was no way. All right, if you're just tuning in, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on 1410 Wing AM. Listeners have been wanting to know our top 10, our power rankings after week 5, heading into week 6. Tomorrow night's Thursday night football matchup. By the way, it's the Commanders and who?
Bears.
Holy moly. I'll watch because of Justin Fields, but at least a quarter.
I have the Commanders defense. Sorry, Justin. I need you to get sacked and throw some interceptions.
Here's the deal. I do know this. The Bears, the Commanders, not one of those teams is in either of our top 10.
Facts.
All right. Kev Nash's top 10 is live up on the board. Kev Nash's NFL power rankings. The floor is yours.
All right, we don't have a lot of time, so let's go through these quick. Welcome back to the top 10 Baltimore Ravens. You got to win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football. It was ugly. It wasn't pretty like most of their wins earlier in the season, but they got it done. And hopefully the defense is back to the way they want it. Obviously not playing a ton of man-to-man and mixing in some zones, so their defense is looking better against the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Number 9, I guess it's the Bucs and Tom Brady. The defense is really carrying the day for the Bucs right now before all the weapons get back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I got them at 9. Number 8, New York Giants. They went all the way over to London and they got a dub. They are 4-1. Now, I may not think they're for real, but their record is 4-1. So you got to put some respect on it. They beat the Green Bay Packers. Number 7 is the Minnesota Vikings. They probably should be higher. Minnesota should probably be higher, but, I got them at 7, so that's where they're going to stay. Number 6 for me, the team that I thought was done, the team that I thought was cooked, the team that has a huge opportunity to make a big statement on Sunday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys coming in at number 6. The San Diego I did it again.
You said the Chargers.
The Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers coming in at number 5, traveled all the way from the West Coast to the Midwest. Kenner was there. Kenner saw the Chargers win that game, and the Chargers are at number 5. Number 4, your guy, Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers. Want to see how San Fran fares now that a lot of their star defensive players are starting to be out, and not only be out for the season. So let's see how long they can stay up there in my top 5. But currently, right now, they're at number 4. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. Got a win over the Raiders on Monday Night Football, probably the best Monday Night Football game we've had all season. They were down 14-0, and they were able to come back. Travis Kelce, 4 touchdowns. By the way, he went to my high school. And at number 2, the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Keith Byers' Philadelphia Eagles coming in at number 2. They got a big road win over the Cardinals. Yes, the Cardinals stink, but still going on the road in the NFL, getting the dub. You got to put some respect on it. And the number 1 team, again, the Buffalo Bills. They put a thrashing on my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. They were up 30-something to 3 at one point in the game. They ultimately won 38-3, 35-point win in the NFL. That doesn't happen every day. Put some respect on the Buffalo Bills at number 1.
And the good thing is for the Bills, they have a big-time matchup.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Chiefs this week.
What? That's a 1 o'clocker?
I believe so. I'm not even sure what the Sunday night game is, but that's
Sunday night is the Philly and the Cowboys.
Yep. So that's a big one coming up this coming up weekend. My top 10, my power rankings, pretty similar to yours, at least a lot of the same teams. I have the Tennessee Titans at number 10. I don't know how right now there's so many in-between teams, but I can't look at a team that's won 3 straight and not have them in my top 10.
Fair.
So I have them in at number 10. I'm not a big believer of the Tennessee Titans, but they kind of like very similar to the Browns. They have an identity. There are teams who have winning records right now that some of them don't have identities or true identities that you really believe that that's who they are. We know who the Titans are. They have not played their best football yet, but they've won 3 straight. It's hard to win in the National Football League. The Browns and Bengals are both 2-3, and one play on all 3 of all 3 losses for both teams. Both teams could be 5-0 right now. So it's hard to win in this league, and the Titans have won 3 straight. They're at number 10. The Giants I have at 9. That's that one team that at 4-1, we did that topic the other day. What's that team with the winning record that the record doesn't truly reflect how good they are, and the team with the losing record that doesn't reflect how bad they are? That's the Giants to me. I'm not so. I think Daniel Jones right now is just a quarterback that, when I look at all the Super Bowl contending teams, the top teams right now, I can't get on board with the Giants. Their defense is solid, but it's not great, and their offense is solid and not great. But they're 4-1. It's hard to win in the National Football League. I have them in my top 10. I have the Chargers at 8. The Chargers are just one of those teams right now that I love Justin Herbert, by the way. I was so jacked. I got to see one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league in Justin Herbert and my favorite team in the league in the Browns this past weekend. Man, he throws a pretty ball. He's just a very, very good. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. But the Chargers and their coach, they got to win this past weekend. The Browns gave him that win. The Browns lost that. The Chargers didn't win that. The Browns lost it. And for that very reason right there, I still have them in the top 10. They have a winning record, and they have Justin Herbert. And I like the weapons that they have. So I have the Chargers there at number 8. I just think if they would have won more convincingly over the Browns the way I thought that they would, I wasn't very confident about the Browns' chances against the Chargers. I would have had them higher up.
Would they be higher if he punted the ball?
Higher if he punted the ball, yes, and I just think it's because it goes back to your point. I keep wanting to overlook that stuff and say it's not a big deal that last year maybe he didn't learn from it. He's doing the same stupid things. That should have been a loss, not because it's my team that I wanted to get the win. They had no business winning with how hard it is to win games in this league, and we've seen the Browns and Bengals suffer, fight little smaller mistakes than that, and then you go for it on 4th and down in your territory, basically giving the ball to them in field goal range. I'm sorry, I can't forgive that. I'm with you 100%. I'm out. I try to give him the Flyer faithful love, and I can't do it.
And to be perfectly honest, that was a team that I was kind of like debating over with the 5, 6, 7. And to be real, it should be the Dallas Cowboys or Vikings at 5, and they should be at 7 simply because of these coaching decisions that I've just personally think are just bonehead. If they were to punt it there, they should stay at 5, but I'm switching mine around. I'm going to drop them down to 7.
Buccaneers, I have at 7. I think that they're a better team than that, but they're not. It's as of week 5, the Bucs are there because I think that they're still winning games and they're overcoming some deficiencies. Tom Brady, despite all the distractions, they're okay. They're not great offensively. They're horrible offensively right now, but it's not because they're a bad offensive team. They just have key guys out. I have the Bucs at 7. The Minnesota Vikings come in at 6. Kirk Cousins, 4-1 right now. You can't say enough about the job that he's done with Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen and, of course, Justin Jefferson. That offense, coming in. I got blasted for saying that the Vikings' weapons are better than the Bengals. Well, the Vikings are capitalizing on their weapons. The Bengals struggling. I have Vikings at 6. San Fran and the 49ers I have in my top 5 at number 5. I need to see a couple more games. I'm a big believer in Jimmy Garoppolo more than Kev, of course, but I think the Niners are, really, really good. And I think instead of this year easing in a rookie quarterback and hoping that he can win some games, now they have a chance to really, get to the Super Bowl again. It's because of the leadership at quarterback. The Cowboys at number 4. I don't really care about the quarterback situation. I care about their winning because their identity is a run offense with that defense, and it's arguably the best defense in the National Football League. I have the Eagles at 3. They're 5-0. They should be at number 1, but it's not college football. It doesn't work that way. I just think that the Bills and the Chiefs, the Bills at 1, Chiefs at 2, those are the 2 best teams in the National Football League. I'm rushing through this because we're out of time, but Kev, that's my top 10, and there you go.
Solid.
So, all right, folks, we're out of time today. I appreciate everyone. We have a lot of fun on this show. I dish it out, but you guys give it back. I appreciate it. I look forward to this 3-hour stretch every day. So thank you guys. So we wrap it up tonight. Until tomorrow, it's been the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Justin Kinner Show.